Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. We're here look at us starting early, girls. Look at us here early. Right. Hello, hello. Da, da, da. All right, this is Samantha Dragonati. The link. Very excited for today's show, guys. Very excited. Let me make sure all my tech stuff is set up correct. All right. All right. How's everyone doing? Man, this week has been so interesting. So good. Oof. Music was beautiful. Shout out to Samantha Dragonati. Ooh, Chet says I finally got a new job after graduating university a year ago. Congratulations. Man, I was watching a video about Gen Z getting hired, and they were talking about sending out like 800 applications. And I was like, man, I thought it was tough as a millennial because you'd have to apply to 100 places to get one job. But Gen Z, apparently, they're applying to like 800 places. And a big part of it is I've heard it's the AI automation where like you send in your resume and it has to go through a computer process first, not a person. That's tough. Yeah, that's really, really tough. Wow. That's a lot. Oh, let's go. Chat says I'm finally live. Love the content, Britt. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me see. Chad says I saw a clip of yesterday of Ethan chickening out of debating Hassan. I'm so tired of these boys. Girl, I am so tired of these boys. But I'm excited to talk about it today because I think it'll be fun. And look, just a reminder to all those Ethan Hassan fans, like genuinely, no offense, y'all are just really good humans to people watch. So at this point, I'm just looking at a mess and trying to enjoy what it means for our lives and like what we can learn from the process. But obviously at this point, I'm not really sure like if anyone's actually trying to solve something or if everyone's just trying to win a battle, which I understand men love to fight. You know, these men's, they out here fighting. But like, yeah, I'm definitely enjoying watching them from far away. Like honestly, I should pick up smoking so I could just watch it from far away. But you know, they're in it. They're in the sauce. They're in the sauce, you know. But we're gonna cover it today from Hassan's view because I think some people they get on their high horse about like why is Brittany coming so hard for Ethan? Because they're covering the stories differently. Like the way Ethan talks about it and the way Hassan talks about it still makes me think Hassan is more right than Ethan. But we're gonna talk about it today. Just talk about like the general energy of Hassan and why it might sound like I am on more on Hassan's side, but also without taking sides, just Ethan is wrong. I disagree with Ethan's framework. I disagree with his opinions. That's what people aren't getting. You know, I just disagree with Ethan. Doesn't matter how much I disagree with Hassan. I fully disagree with Ethan about like 99% of the things that come out of his face. And I think that's what's throwing people off is they keep thinking, okay, but don't listen to Hassan if you just watch Ethan. Yeah. If I just watch Ethan, I disagree with 99% of the shit he says. And the only thing I agree with him on is no one should be calling CPS and nobody should be sending human skulls to his house. Great. I think we all universally agree on that. You know, I think that's not exactly the bravest take. That's the only thing that's ever come out of Ethan's face. Yeah, don't harass people, don't dox people, don't stalk people. Everything else, though, like in regards to Palestine or Israel or everything, like we just disagree. Anyways, we'll get into that. Then I have a couple of chat messages too I want to go over because I think it'd be super fun in regards to the levels. And then we'll just kind of have a little refresher on what's been going on and just give little people a reminder. We have so many new people coming into the community here that not everybody knows what's going on. And they're going to come across asking the same questions we've answered hundreds of times because that's what happens when you build a community. New people come in asking the questions that I've already answered and it's my job to answer them again. So we're going to do that today. You know? Yeah, Chet says this entire thing has become all about CPS and skulls and katanas. I know exactly. It's like, okay, what do those three things have to do with any of this? Those three things are after everything else. So before all of those things, we still had problems. Why aren't we focusing on the original problem? Because now it's all escalating. And Ethan escalates and he escalates and he escalates. And then he changes the goalpost for what they're arguing about. Now they're arguing about skulls and CPS and katanas when we should have been arguing about Palestine and Israel. Or we should have been arguing about his bad opinions about, his tendency to push, Israeli propaganda. See how it all got like now Ethan took something that it wasn't even about him, Israel and Palestine. It's not really about him, right? He doesn't live there. And turned it into something now that's all about Ethan. Now this is all about Ethan. This is all about Ethan. It's just like so exhausting, bro. This is why I say people are so unserious. You are so unserious right now. You know? Da, 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 da. Mm-hmm. Da, da, da. Okay. This is what I'll do. Here's what I'll do. God, it went from 13 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius overnight, and I am dying. Croatia is just so warm now, and I love it. I was waiting for summer, but it's toasty out here. It's just so toasty. I feel like I'm never getting enough water. Though, to be fair, I'm literally drinking DT, which is green tea, which is tea and coffee dehydrates you. What am I doing? What am I doing drinking tea when it literally dehydrates you? Because it's good. Okay, girl? Jess says, Brittany, did you look deeper into the Shannon Sharpe situation? No, but I did see an update yesterday that allegedly a second accuser has come out. So I haven't really looked into it past that. I'm sure we'll get to it. I'm sure the case will keep extending. Or what's the word? God, my brain's already farting today. I'm sure the case will have more details eventually, and then I'll cover it again. I'm just so sick of these men. Actually, I think let's jump into the first question because that kind of has to do with kind of the Shannon Sharpe conversation, right? Oh, wait, Chad says tea and coffee about being dehydrating is a misconception. The amount of that it dehydrates you doesn't outweigh the actual liquid you're intaking. Well, in that case, girl, I'm going to keep doing it then. Let's go. I'm going to keep doing it then. Chad says, do you have faith in the judiciary? I don't have faith in men. I don't have faith in a 54-year-old man who has sex with a 19-year-old. That's who I don't have faith in. That's who I don't have. You know what I mean? That's who I don't have faith in, okay? So I got this question. Let's hop over to this other screen. Hold on. First and foremost, thank you so much for your questions and comments. I'm happy to make content about your comments. I obviously shield people's usernames just out of a little bit of a respect. But I want you to know that when I see your comments on screen, as much as I love the idea that you're a real person behind that username, I have no access to that person and probably shouldn't, just out of respect for the professional line we're drawing in the sand here. But I am answering these questions as if it is a topic at hand we are discussing and not your life that we're discussing, not you. I don't know you, right? So even though the question is posed as, oh, this is happening in my life, just a reminder that I'm reading it as sort of a neutral my life, like a generic person, because I don't know you. So any of the criticisms or way that I speak or the way that I even use the word you is about a general you and not you, because I don't know you. And I'm sure you're a lovely person, but I don't know you, okay? And we're here to discuss ideas on this channel. Philosophy through pop culture, baby. That's what we're doing here, okay? I want the world to realize the love of wisdom is a good path to take. Philosophy is the love of wisdom. That is a really good way to spend your life. Digesting and deconstructing philosophical concepts. And sometimes the best way for us to do that is through pop culture because it's something we're already engaging with on a daily basis, right? Okay. So this person said, can you talk more in regards to relationships? The partner not being there to teach you things? Because honestly, my partner has strengths that I don't. And I take /notice from that. It actively wants me to be better. I learn from them. So Yesterday on stream, we talked about Shannon Sharp and the girl. And I said that, your partner should be your equal, your teammate, not somebody who is there to teach you things. And what that means is that your partner isn't there to play an inappropriate role in your life. They're there to play an appropriate role in your life. So yes, even though you are equals and peers, it doesn't mean we don't teach each other things. I learn things from my friends all the time. I learn things from my siblings. I learn things from children all the time. That's not the kind of learning or teaching I'm talking about. I'm talking about more the grown man. And these are stories from real men that have talked to me about their age gap relationships. Real men who will come to me and say, I just love my 20-year-old girlfriend. She's so cute and she's figuring it out and she's really growing up. And I just remember what a cute teenager she was. And now to see her grown up and get her first job, I'm just so proud of her. And I'm like, why do you talk about your partner like they're a kid? And they go, well, she's young. She kind of is a kid. She's really learning about her life. So you are with a person that you not only view as kind of a kid, but you're trying to give them grace enough to be in their 20s because you knew what it was like to be in the 20s yourself. So that's the kind of dynamic I'm talking about. You don't want to be with a person who looks at you as somebody who has to go through their 20s just like they did because they remember what it was like to be a young person figuring themselves out. That's not the kind of teaching we're trying to, you know what I mean? We're not trying to have here. So when I say like you shouldn't be in a dynamic where your partner is your teacher, that's what I mean. That's not to say that we don't learn from each other, that we don't have things to teach each other, right? I have things I learn from my partner all the time. He learns from me all the time. That's the point is we make each other stronger and better, but we're peers. We're on the same page. Okay. I don't look at my partner and infantilize them. I look at my partner and I acknowledge that they're like grown. And we're grown together and we have a grown relationship, right? I don't look at my partner and think, oh, how cute. He's just figuring out how to tie his shoes. And I think sometimes a lot of these men get into these power dynamics with these young girls to feel like good looking down on these women. I think a lot of people, including women who engage with boys that are young, do it so they can feel good about themselves. I've seen this with women who are in age gap relationships with men 10, 20, 30 years younger than them. And they have a tendency to talk about their male partners as cute, adorable. Oh, they're still learning. It's like you are infantilizing your partner. You are looking at them like they're cute kids who are just figuring out how to tie their shoes. Inappropriate. Inappropriate. So that's what I mean by that. Do we have any questions, thoughts, comments? Because genuinely, of course, we're always going to learn from one another. Nobody is ever anti-learning. But when you have a dynamic with your partner where your opinion is even disregarded because you're the dumb young person, that's also a part of the problem. That is a huge part of the problem in my mind, right? That says, what do you think about the arguments they pose that it is just a preference, like saying I like curly hair? Okay. First of all, thank you, Mars. Membership for 3 months. Says, hey, wishing you a great day. Thanks for the content. Keep going with the awesome work. Thank you so much. Okay, so my channel is a philosophy channel. Love of wisdom. Deconstruction allows for an opportunity for wisdom to flourish when we really look at ourselves. And so the question is this a conclusion you're coming to because you've deconstructed or because you refuse to deconstruct? Are you saying, oh, it's just my preference to date Black people, which, by the way, I didn't even bring up, but I should have extended on Pop the Balloon. When people say they have a type and it's Black, or I have a type and it's white, that's racist. And you should deconstruct that. You do not have a preference for a race. You don't. You don't have a preference for a race. You have a conditioned environmental outside perspective that has influenced you and convinced you that you have a preference for a race. Okay? You do not have a preference for race. You have an objectification towards an illusion of interaction with someone based off skin color. That's what you have. Okay? And it is a difference because preferences, again, are for like your favorite snacks, not for people, guys. Your favorite snacks, not for people. Are you falling in love with a consciousness? Or are you falling in love with a piece of fruit? Okay, so I don't like it. I don't like it. And I think if you deconstructed it, you would realize it's crazy to say out loud. But we say it out loud because we're conditioned to think that way. When I was raised in the 90s, everybody wanted mixed babies because mixed babies were pretty. And oh, everybody loves a light shade of chocolate. And all of the racist shit I heard my whole life growing up that we just thought was so fucking normal. And we thought it was so inclusive of Black people because we were like, Black people and white people make the cutest babies together because the skin color comes out perfect. Do we hear ourselves? Do we hear ourselves? That is the craziest shit we completely normalized growing up. That we just, you know what I mean? Like, we just didn't even hear ourselves because it was so fucking ingrained in us that was what you say. And it was, guys, it was a way to signal to Black people that we were comfortable around them. That's even the funniest part. Like, how not comfortable do you probably feel being like, oh, cool, so you just want me to make pretty babies with you? Like, what are we talking about here? So, you know, preferences are preferences until, you know what I mean? Like, you can call it a preference. It's like the same people that say, oh, you have to compromise in your marriage. If your guy wants to go out on you, but he pays the bills, you have to compromise. That's not where we compromise, girl. We compromise who does the dishes. We don't compromise who goes out and fucks somebody else. That's not the compromise. Okay, that's not there is a healthy way to have an unorthodox relationship without it engaging in toxicity. You can have a polyamorous open relationship that's healthy and consent-based, right? Where you don't have to feel like you're losing a part of yourself in order to keep somebody. But that's really what this is about. Okay? Chat says, serious question. Do you have the same feelings when it comes to lesbians just wanting to date lesbians and not bi girls? Yes. I just made a whole live stream about this. Lesbians who won't date bi girls have internalized homophobia. Biphobia, they have the same fear straight girls have when they won't date bi guys. Straight women and lesbians have a lot in common. They won't date bisexuals because they haven't deconstructed. Period. Yeah. Yeah, you all have something in common. You guys should make out. Absolutely. I would never date a girl who, well, first I'm pansexual, so a lesbian like that wouldn't date me anyways. But yeah, I definitely would. Like, in this, yeah, like, at the end of the day, I want to eradicate these constructs away from my lived experience because I know that I'm more than this. But there aren't people who think that, right? There aren't people who think that. There aren't people who want to keep going on that introspection journey. And that's why 5 framework is so difficult for people to comprehend, because I'm asking you to possibly consider that all of the understanding you have about race and gender and stuff is literally a construct created by your own biological experience. And it's not that it's invalid, but it might not be the healthiest. And also, it might just not be real enough that you should base your whole reality around it. You know, it was like, when I was growing up, I was told, Brittany, you have to be a lesbian or you have to be straight. You can't be bisexual. It's not a real thing. I am born in 1989, y'all. 1989, and my community was telling me bisexuality wasn't a thing. So I came out as a lesbian. And then obviously I'm a pansexual bitch now, and now I'm like, what is gender? Now I'm like, who cares what your gender is? I don't even care what it is. I like you, the person. So there wasn't even a word for me to use at the time when I was coming out. And then everyone was like, wow, Brittany was a liar. She said she was a lesbian, but she's not. I'm not a liar. You put a construct on me that I thought was objective, and I didn't even give myself a chance to tell the truth. We create a reality where we encourage people to lie because we don't encourage people to really think of new ways to exhibit or to be in the world, right? To express themselves, to show up in the world. If the word pansexual was accessible to me as a young person, maybe I would have been able to understand it better. Heck, if bisexual was an option when I was a younger person, I could have used it better. And that's the irony, is like, we have better words now. Gender fluid, non-binary, I'm here for it, girl. Give me better words to express this internal processing that I am experiencing and want to signal to the world. Give me better language. And then know that language will change, and then when we get a little older, it will be limiting in its own way. I am happy to replace any word I need to use a better word that will express what I mean to say. And that's what I'm looking for. Okay? Chad says, we should all make out. You're so right. We should all make out. You're right. You're right. You know? Okay, hold on. Let me scroll up to chat because I feel like I missed a lot. Okay, I do get why POC wouldn't want to date white people, but that's more of a shared understanding, experience, protection from racism thing versus racial preference and fetish. I don't know. Yeah. So there is a difference between dating people who have a shared culture to you and dating people you feel like you get better along with because of that shared culture. But I mean, being Black isn't a monolithic experience. So even saying like, oh, I want to be with another, like a Black person, great. Which kind? From where? Who? Because like really, if you want a shared experience, you can't just date somebody who's Black because you're only having a minimal shared experience, right? Like being Black is like so diverse within itself. Like there are all these kinds of groups. Like, you know, do you want a Myron Gaines Black? Sudanese man who claims he's white. You want that one? Do you want that black guy? Is that who you're talking about? Do you know what I mean? Like, no, because his experience is his own. You know what I mean? So obviously, I understand what it means to want something shared, something in common. But I think even if you deconstructed that, you would realize, like, oh, is that the most important thing? Like, if you're a person who says, I refuse to date anyone who isn't like me, like in terms of color or hair texture or something like that, I think that's a bubble decision, like a two bubble decision, and that's your business. Like somebody might say, well, if you're a 5 and you think we should deconstruct all these things, why can't I be with a 12-year-old? Okay, so when I said deconstruct and, race doesn't matter, I still think age matters, kids. Why does age matter? Why does age matter? Because you're acknowledging a biological, literal difference between children and adults. It's why it's so weird to watch a 54-year-old man hit on a 19-year-old, because we know scientifically the 19-year-old is literally experiencing a different biological experience than a 54-year-old. Literally different stages of human. Literally different stages of human. And you want to get as close to similar stages so you guys are equals on the same page. Even if you guys are a little bit like this, you don't want to be so separate. You're in different eras of your literal life. You want to get it to where you are in similar positions. So sometimes 10-year age gaps can work. Sometimes 20-year age gaps can work if they're in similar positions. But when does that ever happen? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe when you reach 50, it's not going to matter if you date a 70-year-old. Right? I don't really care if a 50-year-old is dating a 70-year-old, unless they're trying to take advantage of the 70-year-old. There is a point where the older person is no longer taking advantage of the younger person. The younger person is now taking advantage of the older person. And that's a conversation to be had, right? Let's see. Chess says, these are arguments that you generally hear from red pill spaces. And I was just curious to know what your take is, just so you know where I'm coming from. Yeah, I mean, fuck the red pill space. You know what I mean? Losers, all of them. Let's see. Hold on, I'm reading chat. The other thing about preference is the word prefer still leaves openings for other people, but no one really uses it like that. Exactly. Everyone uses a preference, like to say, like, it's just my preference. It's just my preference. Okay, so like, are you never going to change your mind on it? It's like, well, I can have a preference, can't I? Yeah. It's like, okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. It's like you can tell how defensive people get when even referencing the word preference, right? Okay, let me see. Age matters because of power dynamics. I mean, everything matters because of power dynamics. There were some people in Love on the Spectrum that were concerned about, is it Madeline or Madison and Tyler, I think, because people felt like, they were off. Even people felt like Danny and Adon were off in terms of intellectual ability. And I just think like everything can be a power dynamic, but not everything is a bad power dynamic. There's nothing wrong with being in a power dynamic. Teachers and students have power dynamics. That's good. There is a thing as healthy power dynamics. We want healthy power dynamics, children and parents, healthy power dynamic, older siblings, younger siblings, hopefully healthy. The concern we have is unhealthy. That is where our concern is. Am I unhealthy? Right? Like that's why I say, like, consent is the first and foremost, most important thing. But sometimes you break your kids' consent by sending them to bed before they want to go to bed. Nuance requires context. It requires it. It's a mandatory requirement of nuance, because otherwise the nuance doesn't have to exist if the context doesn't matter. The context changes the way we're engaging with the conversation, period. That says genital preference thoughts and making sure you aren't transphobic and communicating that. So again, it depends on where you are in your extrospection journey. I think if you deconstructed the human form, you'd realize that the consciousness is more important than the body they were born into. And that at the end of the day, if you love that person, then it shouldn't matter what their genitals are. And if you only love people based off their physical bodies, I mean, that's definitely a way to engage as an evolved animal over millions of years, but you don't have to. It's to some extent a decision you're making to engage that way, but also most people are trained that way. Like we are trained through socialization and partially a biological experience in a sense to naturally have an inclination towards the physical, but it's not a universal experience. Um, it's just not a universal experience the way that we think it is. And so when we're having these conversations, the question is, how much what is your intentionality with engaging and falling in love with a person? In a world where people settle every day, yeah, go ahead and settle for someone based off their genitalia. But in my mind, I refuse to settle. And so I want to fall in love with the goodness of a person, the consciousness of a person. And as long as I'm attracted to them, as long as I love them, as long as I want to be with them, as long as I grow with them, as long as our values are the same, I really don't care the packaging that they're in. And that includes disability or non-disability, color, height, anything else. Like for me, it's about that person. Now, again, the question is, sometimes people will deny themselves an attraction to somebody because they're afraid of the physical body that they appear in, right? Like sometimes somebody will literally say, I cannot date this person. They're not what I imagined. Even though I love this person, how will I explain this to my family and my friends, right? And so the question comes, can you deconstruct that obligation you have to your family and friends enough to love this person that you have connected with? And are you even doing them justice and picking your family over them? And that's the other part of like my family, like my dynamic with my partner is like our families are now secondary to our marriage because like we love each other. We're doing it for each other. I'm never going to pick my family over him. He's never going to pick his family over me. We're going to pick each other over the world because we are doing life together. I love this consciousness. I don't care if he ever gets, all of his limbs cut off. I don't even care. Whatever way he wants to show up in the world, I'm going to love this consciousness. This consciousness is my best friend. This is the consciousness that I've decided to do life with. So like whatever journey he goes on in his life, I am here for it. As long as it is authentic and genuine to his joy, I support him. Period. You know what I mean? And I think that everyone has a different set of options for what they're naturally attracted to, but I don't think you know those options until you've deconstructed. Until you've deconstructed, how do you even know who you're attracted to? That's kind of my theory. I think more people could be more attracted to more options if they could deconstruct it. I'll share with you one of my least favorite kinds of men in the world. I prefer a man who is openly transphobic than a man who specifically says, I love and chase trans girls. Because once again, that is bringing down the trans experience to this physical, specific experience. It's an objectifying experience. I am not interested. I'm not so desperate for love that I would rather a man who is a chaser than a man at all. And that's the dilemma that I see in a lot of our communities. We are so desperate for love. We would rather have a chaser than be single. And I'm just not about it. Okay? I do not want to be loved because you are fascinated with my skin color or my hair or my genitals. I want to be loved because you love and are connected to my consciousness. My actual consciousness. Me, the Brittany that is me. The Brittany that I feel like the love of my life is the only person who will really understand her. Even if the whole world doesn't get me, this one person will understand it. And that one person starts with me first understanding it, me. I have to understand myself first. And then the person I meet understands me too. And that also goes back to the question that I was asked by this viewer, right? Honestly, they say my partner has strengths that I don't. And that's beautiful. My partner has strengths I don't either. And I learn from her every day because she's an amazing teacher. I'm an amazing teacher. We're both amazing students together. And that's the other thing. We're both kind of students of life. So we kind of rely on each other to like, hey, I think you got that wrong. And I'm like, oh shit, did I get that wrong? Because we're in a group project together. Okay, we're doing a group project together. And so like them not winning or them being like, we have to be on the same page because we're doing this together. We're going to get this A+ together. Okay? And we're not in competition with one another. And so for me, again, I'm in love with that person, the person that I'm connecting with. I'm not in love with their body. I'm not in love with their gender. I'm not in love, but I can understand why, because I used to think this. I used to be in bubbles where I believed I was in love with people's gender or their bodies. I believed I could never love a fat person. I believed that. I grew up in a very fat phobic bubble that fully convinced me I could never love a fat person. Now I don't even think about it. I literally don't even think about it. Don't care. Not my issue. Love the consciousness. Let's have a conversation. Right? I am in love with you, this person. So, it's about how much have I deconstructed before I've said I have a preference. you know? Yeah. Chat says, I love big ladies. Yeah, but see, why would you say that? I also think that's weird to be like, I love big ladies. I don't get it. Don't you all think this language is so objectifying? Don't you think ultimately it is objectifying? Don't you think you've been trained to say it because they don't get the love they deserve? And so people say it because they're like trying to give them comfort when it shouldn't even matter. I love this person. So when people say like, oh, I love this person's physical form, don't you feel like that's inherently objectifying at the end of the day? You know? It sounds good though, right? Like you're comforting them through the process, but like, why are you taking pity on them? Just say, I like you. You know, just say, I like you. I don't know. I think that's where I'm at in my deconstruction journey, where I'm like, you know what? I don't love anybody for any other reason than them. I love them as people. I don't love your toes. I don't love your body. I don't love your gender. I love you. And you are so much more than this little, you know, this thing that people put so much like emphasis on, you know? I don't know. I think a form of objectification just shows up in so many ways. And we think we've deconstructed the first part, so we don't have to do the 8th or 10th or 9th part. But it's a lot. There's a lot of layers to deconstruct, you know? There's a lot of layers to deconstruct. Yeah, it's like saying I love you despite your largeness. Exactly. It's like, it's also just like, yeah, I don't know. I am so in love with my partner's brain, and I can't even see it. And I think that's kind of my point. I am so in love with how they think, with how they problem solve, with how they show up in the world, that I'm like, oh my God, I can't even see that brain, and I am in love with it. And I think that's my point. I don't even need to see you to know that I love you. Love is truly blind, you know? Love is truly blind. Kat says, isn't that objectifying too? Well, I believe you're more than your brain. So if you get Alzheimer's, I'm still in love with my partner because I believe in the soul. I believe in the consciousness. So I don't love my partner because they're smart, because even if they had brain damage, I'd love them. So I love them past their brain. I'm just giving you an example of, I'm trying to make the point that I can't see that. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to make the point that I can't see it. But I love my partner, even if they were in a coma, I'd love my partner. Now, some people, especially in the atheist bubbles, they'll say, well, you're just your brain. So if you have brain damage, you don't even have a partner anymore. But I don't believe that. I think I grew up too Catholic to kind of believe that. I think people exist outside of their brain damage. You know? So that's another part of it too. Because I think people also kind of like that's why they objectify like people with disabilities, because they think you're only as good as your ability to think. And I think you're more than that. I just think you're so much more than that. You know, Chad says, what if they genuinely like big ladies? Okay, but listen to the sentence structure. I really like big ladies. What does that mean? What does it mean? What do you think you're saying? I really like this thing. What do you think you're saying about people? What is the emphasis of the sentence on? What are you trying to convey? Okay? Like, look, most of us will get old and get fat. We know you like big ladies because we're all going to die big ladies, okay? But that's not the point, is it? You're saying I like them as if it matters that they're big. And you said, and appreciate them? That's even worse. I really appreciate you for being fat. What? I really appreciate you for being skinny. I really appreciate black skin. I really appreciate white skin. I really appreciate this thing you were born as. I really appreciate your meat suit. What are we saying? I really appreciate your feet. You know, your toes in particular, I really love your toes. Yeah, that sounds like romance to me, babe. Listen, I'm all about sucking some toes. But the sucking of the toes isn't the reason I'm in love with you. Okay? So if people sit here and say, I love big ladies, you might as well just say you like big feet. What does that have to do with love? What do big feet have to do with love? Okay? You know, oh, hi, sweet girl. I did not know she was in here. Hold on. I did not know. Oh, the queen was here and I didn't even know. She was sleeping in her bed. You know? Chat said, so would it be better if I said like? Guys, just do you like people or do you like their bodies? Which comes first? Do you like people or do you like their bodies? I don't go around saying, oh, I really love bodies. I just say, I really like people. People first, body second. People first, body second. People first, body second. People's first, body second. Okay? Tessa, speaking of bodies though, Brit, body is tea. Girl, my I appreciate that. I will say the 30-day challenge I'm doing right now, I'm like a few days in, and yesterday I did something that I was like, oh, I might get this 30 days before the 30 days. I was thinking I might not even get it. And now I'm like, oh, it's definitely body related. I'm excited. Okay. Yeah. So anyways, okay. People first, body second. Okay. Chat says doing the splits. Okay. First of all, I wish my body is refusing to do the splits. No, I don't want to give it away, but my body is refusing to do the splits. Ugh. I wish. I'm still trying. I'm still trying on flexibility. I'm trying. I'm getting better. I'm definitely closer to doing the splits than I've ever been able to, but that's not the 30-day challenge. Okay. Okay. Pat says it's all up to the persons involved. Who cares what others think? Yeah, to some extent, ultimately, it's between you and your partner. I just don't want to see people settle for relationships with people who are only in that relationship because they're objectifying you. Because that's the part that really like hurts my soul. When I see people, remember that trans group of women we were watching, and they said that they prefer chasers because at least they know they're really into them. But in my head, I could never trust that you really love me if you're only with me because I'm trans. I could never trust my partner loved me if I found out they were a chaser. I could never. Do you remember that episode of Blackish? What's the show? You know how they have Blackish, but they have the one where it's like in the past with Zach Morris as the main guy, and she realizes he's dated a lot of black girls, and she's starting to wonder if he only dated her because she was black. Is that in Grownish? Which one is it where they go back in time? Mixedish? Oh, it might be Mixedish. I don't know. It's the one. Either way, that is like a really valid fear to be like, do you only like me because I'm black? Do you have a thing for black girls? Or like, do you only like me because I'm a YouTuber? Or do you only like me because I have this particular body? Or do you only like me because of this? Like, you want to be liked for you. You want to be loved for you. You know what I'm saying? You want to be loved for you. And so when people say like, oh, I love big girls, I love this type of body, I love this, it's just like, yeah, it makes me uncomfortable. It makes me so uncomfortable that's the first thing we're leading with in a conversation. You know? Yeah. Chad says, Brittany, what did you do for the moving your body differently part for the yoga with Cassandra challenge? I am not sure what that question means, but I just followed her video. I'm not sure what that question means, but I just followed her playlist, if that's what you're asking. Jet says attraction is important. Why is it an issue if you physically attracted to color and body type? So everybody is an evolved animal on a planet over millions of years. And through that evolutionary process, you open up different levels of introspection in regards to your place in relation to your evolution, right? So if you keep deconstructing and deconstructing and deconstructing, you will be able to realize there could be a problem with your preferences. Why do men justify marrying children? They say it's a biological imperative. It is natural to their brain. And the reason they want to be with children is because we evolved to be this way. Joke's on you. We evolved to be many ways. And when you deconstruct that evolutionary process and realize you can have a deeper, more introspective, relationship with it, you realize, oh, I don't have to be attracted to children. I can be attracted to other things. But you can sit there and convince yourself it's just simply a preference, but your preference hasn't had a period yet. So let's be so fucking for real. Let's be so fucking for real. You might think it's simple. Oh, I'm just attracted to skin color. I'm just attracted to gender. I'm just attracted to this. Okay, but why? Okay, but why? Why did we justify this action? Okay? Why did we think this was good? Why aren't you willing to ask yourself, what if it means something bad? You know? What if it means something good? You know? Chat says maybe there are people who don't separate the Eunice from your body. Yeah, they don't. Like, a lot of people genuinely think they are their body, right? I think a lot of people suffer from this. Like, they really, and I get it. I used to be there. I used to think I was my body, right? And so people really struggle away from this, which is the binary perspective, right? Is a very big part of this. That's why there's arguments from TERFs that say that trans women inherently support the patriarchy by only transitioning into high femme women. But the reality is like this binary construct was created because it's our limited perception. Like we're limited by our perception and understanding of what it means to show up in the world, right? All genders, all people are pressured into showing up in what they think is a good category of X trait. But that's why it's our job to deconstruct it and say, I'm still a man, even if I show up in a dress. You know, I'm still XYZ if I show up XYZ. But you need to deconstruct that first. You know? So again, attraction isn't bad, but it can be dangerous, and you need to make sure you're not engaging in bad attraction. You know, born this way is not an argument out of bad attraction. The question is, that's why when we talk about gay people or trans people, if you're having a genuine good faith conversation about them, there is enough data to show that there's basically inherently no harm in having that type of attraction. And that's the thing. It's like, but individual people can have a negative reasoning for being in that kind of relationship dynamic, right? And that's the difference. And that really is the difference. And I think it takes a long time for people to realize this. Remember, this is my special interest. This is my life. This is what I think about every day, all day, right? Which we're going to get into in the next question that I got from chat yesterday from stream. Is like, for me, all I think about is why I do things. Why is this happening? Why am I having this relationship? Why does my body feel this way? Oh, I wonder what this is about, because I'm actually pretty sure, and this is my contribution to the philosophy bubble, is I'm pretty sure we have answers to these things, but we settle on the first answer because we think it sounds the most right, but it's actually probably the most wrong. You know? There's just so much to be experienced in life, but humans naturally limit themselves. And I'm saying you can also naturally expand yourselves. It is just as natural to limit yourselves as it is to expand. You are nature, baby. And your nature has a lot of options. You, within your own biological experience, can have so many experiences. But normally what people do is they get to a certain place and they stop. And they go, okay, I'm just going to have this experience. And I go, that's valid, but like, why? And you can do it. But like, also why? You know, and they don't usually know why, or they'll say, oh, because I think this is the final answer. They think they reach the final answer. And that's, you know, that is what it is, you know? But again, you can do that. I don't think everyone is obligated to go on a journey where they don't stop limiting themselves. It's okay to limit yourself as long as you realize that's kind of what you're doing. I think people don't want to accept that that's what they're doing, though. They're not accepting that they've picked an idea and stayed true to it. Like, pick it and stay there. But don't argue with the rest of us like you're not the one who didn't stop. Like, you stopped growing, okay? It's why like young people tend to outpass old people, hopefully, because we're trying to be better. We're trying to learn from them and go beyond. But eventually old people do age, right? I think of Bill Maher all the time. How Bill Maher at the time I was growing up was like this great, amazing, like, wow, religiousist in his documentary, and he was challenging the status quo, and he was challenging the idea that atheists couldn't be moral, and like this was a very big deal. And then he slowed down, and then he just became another old man. Then he just became another old man. Okay, that was it. He stopped growing. He stopped being introspective. He slowed down. And now it's our job to surpass him. And hey, if I ever slow down, I hope you surpass me, right? Like, that's the idea. It's like our old people naturally, that's why they say when you're young, you're a liberal. When you're old, you're a conservative, right? Because yeah, you conserve as you get older. And I don't want to do that. But I do find myself naturally getting stuck in bubbles where I'm like, oh, I'm aging, I can feel it. So I do look to young people to like keep me grounded because young people have access to information I don't have. And then that's what I do different from even my parents or other people. My parents are the elders in the community. They don't trust young people. They don't think young people have any insight because old people have the arrogance to think that there's no, answer in youth. But I have enough wisdom to know that there's answer in the youth and in the elders. Everybody's got an answer. How do I bring it all together? How do I bring it all together is the question. Okay, I just drank all of this tea and now I have to tinkle and I'm not going to be able to sit here for another 2 hours without doing it. Give me a 2-second break. We'll come back. We'll get into the levels and a huge comment that I got on my channel, which will deconstruct the levels. I'm sure you guys will have tons of questions because of it. Give me 2 seconds. God, this green tea really just it was like, now we have to pee, girl. Here's some Samantha Dragonati. I'll be right back. Hello, I'm back. Pause. Discord said, I do think this idea that sexuality is a choice is often damaging to people, particularly in my experience around being gay. Not always a choice on some things. Hold on. Is that for me? Is that for me? Because I want to make it clear. I'm not saying sexual orientation is necessarily a choice, right? When we're talking about 8 billion people on a planet, we're talking about so many fucking variations in evolution and options that it will show up differently for everyone. Yeah, Discourse says yes. Okay, so let's talk about that. When I say something, do you think after everything I've ever talked about on this channel, I'm ever accounting for 8 billion people? Like, I need the math to make sense in people's brains because I need you to embody this thought. How could Britney make a statement that would ever qualify or pertain to 8 billion people when that is literally the biggest premise of my work, is that we cannot account for 8 billion people. So variations in experience have to exist, right? So like, when I'm talking about orientation and deconstructing attraction, do you think I'm maybe talking about the people that secretly in the back of their head really want to suck some fucking D, but they're too embarrassed to admit it? Do you think I'm probably talking about people that are attracted to people's bodies but can't bring them to the get-together because people make fun of them? Do you think I'm maybe talking about people who are attracted to somebody who's in a wheelchair but their family won't understand it because they haven't deconstructed disability? Right? Like, who in the world could I be talking about when we're talking about deconstructing and challenging ourselves when it comes to who we think we're in love with because of their physical form, right? Like, I did not do all this work to deconstruct to then come to a point where I don't think people have valid sexual orientations, right? I didn't do this much work to come to a conclusion that people don't actually, aren't actually lesbians. Do you know what I mean? Some people are actually lesbians. Some people are actually something, right? But even lesbians have to deconstruct how their attraction to gender works. That's usually how some of us find out we're lesbians. Look at Chappell Roan, who just recently came out as a lesbian. She had to deconstruct gender and what it means to be attracted to people. She dated men for a very long time and then recently came out as a lesbian, right? So when we listen to me, out of all people on the internet, know that I am never talking about 8 billion people, right? Which brings me to the second question I got. And listen, so if you guys are new to my work, I created a philosophy framework called The Levels. Okay? I did it 4-something years ago. And for the last 4-something years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, for the last very many years, okay, 2019, 2018, 2019, for the very many last years, I have dedicated my time into focusing on this framework and kind of sharing what I've experienced to see if it resonates with other people in different ways. Initially, when I shared it on the internet, it was to reach like-minded people and hopefully to meet my partner. I met like-minded people and I met my partner. So in my personal life, I am very deeply satisfied with the conversations I'm having about introspection and the levels, right? I continue to post about the levels because I am choosing to dedicate my life to philosophy. That is my field of interest. And I am submitting my levels as a philosophical framework into the philosophical landscape. I'm also aware that it is unfinished. I'm aware that I'm still working on it. I'm aware that I'm still very fucking young. And by the time I'm 50, it might look very different. But I am working on something in real time in the public sphere. People are watching me literally. Like, imagine you could watch Socrates focus on his philosophy beliefs. Imagine you could, not that I'm Socrates, but you know what I mean? Imagine in real time watching a person form their ideas. That's what you're doing. You're watching me form my ideas in real time because we have the internet. So there's going to be flaws. I'm going to make updates. I'm going to speak, like a person. So I'm going to make mistakes. But I have volunteered as tribute to have me be in the public while I figure this out. I could have just kept this private, worked on it on my own, and then come out with it in 30 years. But instead, I'd prefer to have you be a participant because I think I learn from you the same way you can hopefully learn from me. So that brings us to this question that I got. We had somebody on stream yesterday who was asking me a bunch of questions, and the questions are super valid, right? But they felt like I was misunderstanding them, but I was telling them, I already know what you're asking. I already get it. And they were like, no, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. And again, I'm not talking about you. I've had this conversation hundreds of times, if not thousands at this point. And I knew that I knew what they were saying, but they were convinced I didn't get it. So they left a comment on my video, which was so valid. But as I read the comment, I was like, yeah, I already know. Because every point they brought up in their comment, I've already talked to 100 billion people about. I get asked the same questions every time I talk about my levels. So I've been here, I've done it, and I will keep doing it forever. Because hopefully the more I explain it, the more I answer the same questions, the more it becomes clear or people start to get it more, right? But trust me when I say this, when I say I am looking for somebody to talk to who's serious about these ideas, I don't mean randos from my audience, God bless you. I mean people who have dedicated their life to philosophy and deconstruction, people whose career is based around this. Like I said, in my personal life, I'm very satisfied talking to people about philosophy. I don't need more friends. I need somebody who has a job. So this person insinuated they could maybe make a YouTube channel, not that they would, but they, don't make a YouTube channel. I'm not going to talk to you guys. I don't want people to make a YouTube channel to talk to me. I want to meet people who are ready. This is their life's dedication. I am dedicating my life to this. I've been doing it for 5+ years. I'm wondering who else is dedicating their lives to this thing and if we have some overlap when we have a conversation. Now, check out this comment. It says, hey, Britt, and this person's lovely. I'm so glad they left the message. I'm so glad they're asking me questions. I'm happy to answer them. Asking questions means I get an opportunity to answer them. But when I say I've already answered these 1,000 times, it's because everyone always has the same questions. Because everyone is, the human journey is, you know, I get it. The human brain, I'm really discovering the human brain really operates in a very limited way. So we all have the same, like, sort of the uniqueness of our diversity is there, but enough of us have the same journey that I am used to the way the conversations happen, right? So like they said, hey, Britt, I've been reflecting on our brief interaction in the levels framework as a whole. I want to share something, not to challenge you, but because I've genuinely appreciated your work and it's given me a lot to think about, which I appreciate. Thank you so much. They said, I believe you when you share the levels to offer clarity, not a hierarchy. And I believe that when you say they're essentially arbitrary and not about aspiring to fiveness. But I also see that the format often functions like a ladder. The structure, even if unintentionally, can invite comparison, performance, or a need to prove where one lands. Okay, how many times have we heard this in this audience? How many times is a person going to come to me and say, don't you think it shouldn't be 1 through 5 if you don't want it to be a hierarchy, right? So when I say, I already know what you're trying to say, and they go, no, you don't understand what I'm trying to say. I've heard it 1,001 times. And now I'm going to explain to you why we're keeping the levels 1 through 5, because I think it's important. Okay? The letter continues, when I asked about the world of majority of 5s, I wasn't saying 5 is the goal. I was trying to explore something more imaginatively. But maybe the chat wasn't the best space for that. And I understand why the question was shut down quickly and framed as if it revealed a misunderstanding. If the linear and ascending 1 through 5 system isn't integral to the work, I wonder if the framework could evolve into something more fluid, maybe less like a ladder and more like a map. A map is less likely to signal better or worse, and it may allow for more movement, exploration, and nuance. It might invite people to locate themselves without the pressure to ascend. That kind of structure could create more space and curiosity and play and kind of radical self-intimacy I think your work is trying to support. How many times have I read a comment like this on my chat? Thousands. I think at this point, it is what everyone's brain does, which tells me by data that a human brain naturally does this. And now it has become a test. If you think the 1 through 5 isn't good because it creates hierarchical thinking, you're 2. This is my new definitive answer. If the idea that 1 through 5, you can't get it out of your head that it's hierarchical, if you say I should change it so people don't get as angry, 2. Because no way would a 5 read that and give a fuck about the levels. Because when I created it as a 4, I didn't give a fuck. It didn't mean anything. And that's because I had deconstructed already. Okay? Chat says approximately 2 billion times. Exactly. And you're not bad. You are not a bad thinker. You are thinking exactly the way humans think. You are an amazing example of what exactly I'm trying to prove is. Why are we all attached to this idea of hierarchy? Why are we all attached to this idea that, oh, Brittany thinks she's a 5, so she thinks she's better than us? Why do you have that attachment to numbers? I don't have that attachment, right? Isn't that interesting? So why do people have it? Because our brains automatically problem solve to think, oh, I want to get to the thing. I have to get to the thing. And I'm saying deconstruct your natural inclination to want to get to the thing. This person is doing me such a favor and proving what I've been trying to prove through the lens of my work. Why does your brain automatically, and then the idea that I've dedicated my life 6 years to this or 5 years, whatever it's been, I can't do math. And they're like, hey, have you ever thought about this? It's like, God, I hope so. I hope I didn't just spend 5 years of my life making video after video for not one single person to ask me this question before. Do you know what I mean? And why do I say this? Why do I say the numbers don't matter? I just saw a TikTok that said if you could eradicate any one of the star signs, which one would it be? Everyone's like Cancer, Sagittarius. And I'm like, look at us. It doesn't even if it wasn't numbers and it was names, y'all hate some signs. Shout out to my Tauruses, you know? Shout out to my Tauruses. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what I call it. It doesn't matter if I call it blue, red, purple. You'll want to be purple and you'll hate blue. You hate people's skin color because they were born that way. People have evolved to hate you for being black. You think they're going to hate you for being a name? Like, that's what I'm saying. We are not being so serious. Be so fucking serious right now. You think the problem with my levels is they're 1 through 5? The problem with humans is they're racist. The problem with humans is it doesn't matter how much you want to deconstruct, they can't even figure out their misogyny. The least of the worries we have here are numbers. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. Chet says deconstructing means mentally dismantling hierarchy and stop idolizing. What's this word? Hegemonic models of humaning. Deconstructing, this beautiful skill we have to pull things apart and to examine them and then put them back together to seek meaning, is a beautiful, beautiful skill, but I don't think it's taught. It's not taught, right? Chet says, Brittany, do you think that it's your very idea that you have deconstructed enough needs deconstruction? Ever given that a thought? When did I say that? What do you mean? Are you saying that I say that I've deconstructed enough? Guys, who in chat here thinks I have ever said that I have deconstructed enough? I swear to God, I can come on this channel and I know your username is in chat every day, sis. I know you're listening to me talk. So when have I ever said that I am done deconstructing? Right? Is that what you're saying? Do you see what I mean? I can say it 1,000 billion times and people will still hear me wrong. You said it a while ago? No, I absolutely did not. I have never said on my channel, I am done deconstructing. I've literally said almost every stream that I will be deconstructing until even after I'm dead. So who are you listening to? You said it a few minutes ago, girl. Maiden says it's Brittany's cadence that makes people think you're saying that. That's the autism. But yes, I know that my cadence makes people think I'm saying things I'm not. That's why I'm saying okay, Maiden, you're a genius. This brings me into something I want to show you. How people are so bad at knowing what they're viewing and hearing. You are so bad at it. Humans are so fucking bad at listening. You are so fucking bad at listening. People have been watching my work for 5 years and you're so bad at listening, and I love that for you because that's so human. Look at this story Philip DeFranco just covered. I saw these women. Tell me how many of you saw this story. Did you see this story? And by the way, we're all bad at listening. I'm bad at listening too, okay? So I'm not coming for you. Did you see the Australian twins that talk at the same time? Did you guys see this story? Okay. Hold on. Oop, that's not what I show you. Hold on. Let me bring it up because, girl, I was gagging when I saw this story. Hold on. Maiden, you're a genius. Thank you for reminding me I had this set up for you guys. Listen to this story.
Next up today, in very different news, let's talk about this viral video that introduced the world to a pair of Australian treasures. Right, if you've existed on the internet in recent days, you may have seen this video at least in some capacity.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum, and he went up there and he was coming back down towards us, and he goes, "Run, he's got a gun." And our heart started to pound, and I said, "Oh, Mum, where's Mum?" And poor Mum was stuck up there, but apparently our brave Mum, she goes, "Are you all right?"
Because he had all blood
all over his face. And he goes, "I'll shoot you." She goes, "Hey, I'm here to help."
So that is...
Okay, so I saw this, and I went, oh, look, autism and echolalia. I right away was like, oh, autism, echolalia. I get it. And people in the comments are dragging them. They're literally like, no one talks like this. This is such a show. They're literally doing this for views. This is not a thing. They have been together their whole life. They've never separated. They live their whole life together. And so I had this thought before. I'm calling it autism, echolalia. Phil then posts this story because I was like, the internet's mad because they don't know what they're seeing. Why is the internet so pissed at these people? Like, what are you so mad about these ladies for? Like, you think they don't talk like this because what? Okay, then listen to Phil. Listen to Phil describe. I didn't know any of this about these girls. I didn't know this about them, but tell me this is not autism.
Paula and Bridget Powers talking in unison about a carjacking that their mother experienced. And as this video gained traction online and people were talking about these women and their in-stereo speech, many Australians weren't too surprised. Right in that, because as it turns out, the Powers twinnies, they're well known down under, both for their connection with each other and their bird sanctuary. Because you see, after working with Steve Irwin briefly, Bridget and Paula branched out on their own, and they've been running the Twinnies Pelican and Seabird Rescue for over 20 years. And over that time, they've saved thousands of injured, orphaned, and sick native birds. And according to one veterinarian and TV host, quote, quote, "One of the true strengths the twins possess is this incredible ability to read a bird and just watch it for 30 seconds and almost know medically what's going on with it." And adding, "You can go to university for years and years and not be able to do that. If there's a bird in distress or even a turtle, the twinnies respond. Every single waking minute will be spent tending to that animal, and they don't really rest until the patient's needs are taken care of." And looking into it, there are actually numerous examples. Like back in 2020, they found a pelican egg that was on the edge of a dam, but it had rolled away from its nest site, and the twinnies, they brought it inside, incubated it, and raised the bird for months before releasing it into the wild. They take injured birds, sick ones, lost ones, any kind that you can imagine. With Steve Irwin's father, Bob, even saying that he thinks 90% of the birds that have come into the twinnies' care would have died without intervention, and adding, "I hate to think of how many hundreds and maybe thousands of birds would be dead now if not for the twinnies." But also, it hasn't always been smooth sailing for Bridget and Paula. Besides the ridicule they've faced for their unique speech and identical style, they've also been battling health issues their entire life. Issues including osteoporosis, stomach issues, and heart problems. With sometimes it just being hard to get out of bed, and you actually had the twinnies saying in an interview, "But we know we've got to look after our feathered friends over in our center, and they need our help." And even the center itself has had issues. A couple of years ago, money got really tight for the twinnies, where they were just kind of scraping by on public donations, their father's Vietnam War pension, and the occasional government grant. And eventually, that wasn't enough, with the twinnies pelican and seabird rescue facing the very real threat of eviction. That is, until a philanthropist based in Brisbane stepped in and purchased the site from the twinnies' landlord of 12 years, with them promising to work with them and make the site exactly what they need. And their mom saying at the time, "It's pretty amazing to think that someone has come through the gate to fulfill the twins' dream, not for a roof over their heads, but a roof for the birds that they love saving. We would have had to end up moving or close down, and even to move dozens of aviaries from here. What a task." And because of that generosity, the twinnies have been able to continue their work. Work that is gravely needed, right? The urban development of the Sunshine Coast has led to countless seabirds being caught up in fishing lines, struck by propellers, or even injured by humans. And that's without getting into the storms, with Tropical Cyclone Alfred wreaking havoc on the native birds of Australia earlier this year, and dozens of birds being transferred to the twinnies rehab center. But, with all that said, and for all their work, I want to give Paula and Bridget the BAMF of the Day award.
Okay, so the internet was mad at them. Literally, so angry at these women. Half the internet was happy and half the internet was mad. And I just kept thinking, wow, humans are so bad at understanding what they're looking at. We're so bad at context. We're so bad at the whole story. We're so bad because we don't have the tools, right? I'm looking at them and I'm like, isn't it obvious that they're not normal? And by normal, which is a construct, I mean common. So you're getting mad at them for not being like everyone else because you think they're doing it maliciously, because if you did it, it would be malicious. They're just having a different neurological experience with life. They're literally just having a different sister relationship with life. They're literally just having their own fucking relationship, right? But people have to assume maliciousness on their part because if they did it, it would be malicious. Sure, absolutely, right? And that's the problem. People don't know what they're viewing. They have no clue how people are interacting with someone. I used to have a mod that was autistic, and they used to get triggered a lot, and people would have to walk on eggshells around their feelings. And I eventually had to ban them. And I saw them leave a comment on a random video that I was like, what the fuck? And they were talking about how Brittany banned me because I called her out for being ableist. I banned you, in case you see this, because you were once again yelling at me in chat, and I had to do emotional labor to calm you down because you misunderstood something I said and took it personal when it wasn't even about you. This is a channel for learning. And then that person went on my Discord and ranted and yelled at me and berated me and called me names. So I blocked them and I refunded their Patreon because I'm a good person. I block and I refund, okay? Usually, unless you're an asshole. That person was triggered. That person had been doing this for a long time. That person has no idea how above and beyond I have gone to make this space comfortable for them. And the only way I was ableist was excusing their behavior as autism instead of realizing they were rude. They had been rude for years. Anytime I discussed something I liked, they made it a reason to talk badly about me. Oh, Brittany likes this thing. I'm going to explain to her why she's stupid for liking this thing. And I used to think, oh, that's just their autism. They're not being rude. And then I realized, oh, nope, they're being rude. You're being cruel. And so for them to go and internalize that social situation as Brittany banned me because I called her out, I banned you because you were being rude. You were being so beyond cruel every second you had an opportunity to. You were banned because in a public place where I come to work, I had to come to work to find somebody who was only modded because they said they could help, not because I knew them personally, right? But the idea that they were blaming their autism on their bad behavior is exactly the issue. Being a mod is not special. If you want to be a mod because you want to help out the community, great. But if you want to be a mod because it makes you special, I'll unmod you right now. Okay? So regardless of how introspective we think we're all fucking being, you do not understand the situation until you understand the situation. Nobody's getting banned in this comment for disagreeing. You're being banned because you're harassing people or me in the comments. Because you're being absolutely bad faith. Because you decided to sit here and complain in the comment section about XYZ when the rest of us are just trying to have a vibey time. How many people exist in my chat who disagree with me all the time? As long as you're vibing, I'm good with you. But if your form of disagreeing also lands you insulting, throwing a tantrum, getting triggered, and then blaming me for it, when girl, I don't even know you. Get off the internet. This is the bullshit I mean to say when I say people don't know what's going on. They're not observing their own behavior. And listen to me when I say this. I keep myself, chat says, do you pay your mods? They're YouTube mods. I used to pay my Discord mods, but I don't pay my YouTube mods. My mods do not work for me. My mods do not work for me. They do not have a job with me. If having a mod on YouTube means I have to pay people, I do not want to work with you. I will unmod everybody right now. I do not run a YouTube channel like other YouTubers where mods work for them. They do not work for me. Okay? They do not work for me. Chat says I have a real job. LOL. Thank you. Thank you, chat. This is the problem with YouTube bubbles. In some YouTube bubbles, people pay their YouTube mods because it becomes a job. I don't want you to make it your job. I do not want you to be here on stream because I'm streaming. The mods are just people in chat who said, hey, Britt, I can help you. Mod me. And I said, okay. But if you, right, are burdened by that, I can unmod you. Being a mod does not mean you're special. But that's the problem, right? Is like people literally think, oh, like they have a status now. They have a way in. I do not know my mods. My mods are nice people who volunteered to help me, and I said yes. But, you know, I can unmod them right now if it gets too weird. Okay? Chat says I'm at work. LOL. I just had to pull my phone out of my pocket. I love that half of the people who watch me literally watch while they're at work. So, like, I'm the one who mods 99% of my comments, right? Like, I am usually one who catches people faster than my mods can because I'm, like, literally right here. But it's just nice to have an extra hand if I need it, you know? You know? But I know some YouTubers, like, it becomes, like, literally a job for them. But, you know, I don't want my mods to ever feel like it's a job. If it ever feels like that, I'll unmod you, right? Okay, now, with that said, let's go back to this. Nope. That's my window. I have the comment on my own window so I can see it because the text is too small. But you guys need this window so you can see it. Wait. Is that? Hold on. Yeah, that's right. Hold on. I'm boomering. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Okay. So here's the comment. You should be able to see it now again. Chat says Brittany has the fastest trigger in the West. I love blocking people. It feels really good. Okay. Now, going back to my levels in this comment section. Okay, now. So they said, you know, if being a 1 through 5 doesn't matter, you should make it a map because it'll be more inviting to people, as if I need to invite more people into thinking they're more introspective than they are. That kind of structure could create more space for curiosity, playing kind of radical self-intimacy. I think your work is trying to support. Don't try to guess what my work is doing. The worst thing people do when it comes to my levels is try to guess what I'm doing because they're always wrong. They're always fucking wrong. Listen to me when I say this. I'm an autistic philosophy junkie. I am sharing my favorite Lego set with you, and you are assigning a prescription to my Lego set that is more than it needs to be. I made a cool thing I want to show you. And you're saying, do you want your Lego set to save the world? You should do it this way. Why are you putting something on my Lego set? I made a Lego thing. I want to show you the Lego thing. And everyone's like, yeah, but if you want your Lego set to be better understood by everyone, you should do it this way. Guys, listen to me, okay? I built a Lego set and I want to show you a cool thing I made, right? Chat says it genuinely sounds like this person is trying to connect, which is an interesting approach to take with a YouTuber. Absolutely. Everybody wants to connect. Now, my partner said something to me because, you know, no, chat said, okay, so only you understand. Got it. Wait. Okay. No. I'm going to ignore that comment. That sounded like a troll. Okay. So my partner said, when you talk, sometimes it can sound to other people like you have some secret cool thing and they want to know what it is. And I'm like, okay, but I do. I made it. Look, I'm showing it to them. He's like, yeah, but they don't know you're showing it to them. Or when you say, oh, I really want to talk to a specific person about the levels, they think, oh, I can be this person. But they don't know you're not talking to them. You're talking about somebody else. And I'm like, yes. And he's like, right. So you're making it sound like if you pick somebody to talk to, it might be a cool thing. That's why this person wants to volunteer. That's why people want to volunteer to be like, oh, you can talk to me. No, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to somebody who dedicated their life to Lego building, not somebody who just bought their first Lego set. Do you know what I mean? I didn't just buy my first Lego set. I've been making Legos for a long time. You know what I mean? Violet with the super chat, thank you so much, says, I don't always agree with you, but I appreciate your content for challenging myself and my perspective of the world and people. I love that. I love that. Thank you. So I'm trying to explain it to you, but my tone of voice might sound like this is my natural tone of voice. I am not mad. I'm not angry. I'm passionate. I'm excited. I pulled my tarot card for today. It says I'm vibing. Okay. I got the Ace of Cups, face up, baby. So I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. So I'm just excited to share with you a special interest. I'm in no way, shape, or form yelling at you or mad. I'm just very excited because this is my favorite topic in the whole world. And if I could talk all day about the levels, I would. Okay. But people, okay. Okay. Now, okay. All the comment keeps going. I also find myself wondering, why do you share the levels? Is it for connection, understanding, evolution, or is it something more pragmatic, like an opportunity for work or signaling to an audience? I know that might be a sensitive or even uncomfortable question, and I don't mean it as a trap or a critique. I'm genuinely curious, and I completely understand if it's not something you want to engage with. I am a girl who created a philosophy, and I want to show it to you. I made a thing, and I want to show it to you. I made a painting and I want to show it to you. Okay? I made a statue and I want to show it to you. I made a dress and I want to show it to you. Okay? I made something and I want to show it to you. Do you guys like it or not? If you like it, great. Do you know what I mean? And you're still adding to it. Exactly, chat. And I'm still adding to it. I'm still adding to it, right? I'm creating something and I'm doing it, right? Now, initially you know what it is? Chess is almost like you're a content creator. I think people don't understand because they don't create maybe. Like, I feel like the creatives in my audience must get it. Why do you create anything? What do you mean? Philosophy is art, dude. We create because it's an expression of self. It's a discovery of self through art. And maybe this person isn't a creative, or maybe they are, but they're a different kind of creative. You know, I don't know if that's the difference. It's like, I'm a creative. I am creating something here. I am creating something from the heart and depth of my soul. And I'm presenting it to total strangers on the internet. And I'm like, do you like it? And people are like, no. And I'm like, okay. Do you like it? And some people are like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. Do you like it? And like, I like it, but I'm still going to I'm still going to work on being a good writer or a good painter or a good sculptor or a good Lego builder. Like, I'm still going to keep working on my philosophy, right? Okay. And this person's very genuine, right? But I'm trying to explain to you why people don't know what they're viewing. If you don't know what you're viewing, then you don't know, then you ask the questions because you're unsure. But when this person in chat was so beautifully like, oh, I think you're misunderstanding me. That's not what I'm saying. Girl, I know what you're saying because I've answered this question 1,000 times in my life, okay? You said soon after some of my comments, you mentioned that if another creator wanted to engage with you seriously, you'd be open to it. I probably won't enter the YouTube world in a way that would make sense for us to cross paths, so I'm reaching out here instead. Though I get that it might not make sense to engage with audience members in this way. This is normal. I'm used to this. This is like the millionth time this happened to me, right? It's totally fine. You know, totally valid. I've heard this 1,000 times. When I say this, I mean, I'm looking for another philosopher. I'm looking for somebody who's dedicated their life and is dedicating their life to philosophy. I mean, somebody who's a content creator and wants to build a business. I mean, somebody who's like Richard Dawkins, but not a misogynist. Somebody who's Alex O'Connor, but doesn't have bad collaborations. I'm talking about another content creator who's also dedicated to the work. I don't want new friends. I don't want new connections. I don't want DMs. I want serious people who are dedicating their life to like the work, and they're like, here, I wrote a book on this, or here, I actually have a philosophy about this, or hey, I actually have a whole channel already dedicated to this with an audience. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not, when I say, and this isn't just for this person, this is for all of us. When you, because I've gotten DMs in my Discord like, hey, I heard you wanted to talk to people. I just went through the levels. I'd love to talk to you about it. No, sis, you're not listening. Like, I don't want to talk to randos. I want to talk to philosophers. Like, I'm waiting to meet that artist, the other artist that wants to expand on this thing with me. Lots of people in my audience understand the levels really, really well. Lots of people in my audience can tell me verbatim, you know, what the levels are about. I was like, yes, you get it. They're not people I want to talk to on stream. They don't own a business. Like I'm looking for working opportunities. Tess says, would you say you're a philosopher? I mean, I think at this point, that's the most accurate categorization for the thing that I'm doing. It sounds a little hokey, like I'm a philosopher. But the truth is like, technically, yeah, I'm creating my own philosophy. I'm contributing to the philosophy bubble, right? Wait, chat says, I never said I wanted to talk to you, Gail. Are you the person who wrote this comment? You said soon after some of my comments, you mentioned that if another creator wanted to engage with you seriously, you'd be open to it. I probably won't enter the YouTube world in a way that would make sense for us to cross paths, so I'm reaching out here instead. Isn't that you? Did you write that comment? I'm autistic, but I'm not that autistic, girl. What do you think that meant? What did you think that meant when you said, so I'm reaching out here instead? Is that you? Is this your comment? What do you think that means? What did you mean to say? Like you are engaged, like you're reaching out. You said, I'm reaching out here instead. I don't know what you meant by this, but that's what you said. So maybe you can explain it since you're here. I don't get what you meant then. If you didn't want to engage with me, then why did you engage? Hold on, let me go look at the original comment and see who wrote it. That says they're a member. It doesn't matter if they're a member because yeah, it's Heaven Hyena. Yeah, it is you. Why'd you write me this whole comment if you didn't want to engage? When you just said I want to engage with you. And like 50 memberships got membershipped. Like, I think they're being genuine. I just don't understand why you said that. Okay, I wish you the best. I see you're leaving. Bye. I just don't understand what you meant. You know what I mean? When you said like, you said, what? This is what I'm saying. Is this autism on autism crime? You mentioned that if any other content creator wanted to engage with you seriously, you'd be open. But I probably won't enter the YouTube in a way that would make us cross paths. So, yeah, I think you're genuine. I just don't understand what you're trying to convey here. Discord said, I remember leaving a comment similar to that years ago. I mistook your passion for frustration. And at the time, although I didn't realize it, I was basically asking if you'd consider masking your work. I realized there's not much value in doing that because it's similar to me suggesting that you change your art so people find it appealing, which is something I think about all the time. I am constantly thinking about, should I mask more to be more successful? But the truth is I pay my rent. Do you know what I mean? Like I pay my bills being as close to myself as I can. So I kind of take that as a blessing. But that's why I did that panel with the girls talking about masking at work. Yeah, there are certain things I'm willing to do, but there are certain things I cannot do without it being at the expense of my art. You know, that's definitely something I don't want to do. Right? But I think that that's the thing is like when I say, you know, when I say I'm autistic, I'm assuming people will then view me through an autistic lens. Or if I say, hey, I don't believe I can make a prescription for 8 billion people, that they will then use that information to judge what I'm saying. But I feel like people don't know how to do that because their brains don't work that way. We don't work that way. Guys, I think you have to have a special interest in people in such a particular way to consider every context of every word they're saying to put together the probability of what they're actually saying, which is a special interest of mine, which is why I actually have been so nuanced and balanced when it comes to Ethan and Hassan, because I'm saying, look, They're in this category. They're saying this thing. I'm not always right, but I'm saying this is why I think they're saying this. Ethan, I can tell Ethan's joking. And people say, he's not joking, Brittany. He's serious. He's not serious. You're wrong. He's joking. Just because he's joking here doesn't mean he's right about Palestine here. And people are like, no, he's not joking. He's serious. He's joking. The fact that you don't know he's joking is a part of the communication problem. I'll make a joke on stream all the time and people don't know I'm joking, but that's just because people communicate. That's how we communicate. That's not your fault. It's not my fault either, by the way. But it's our job, if we think we're understanding people correctly, to ask ourselves, would Brittany say that? Everything I know about Brittany and her character, does this make sense with how I view her? When I watch certain people and I say, that doesn't sound like them, that doesn't match their MO, that's why it can be shocking when some idea of a person we've built up, they go contrary to that belief. Because it would be like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. It doesn't match any of the pattern I was seeing. Most people aren't some fucking Machiavellian 4D chess players. Most people are telling you every day who they are. You know what I mean? Most people literally tell you who they are every day. Most people are not playing some fucking game. And if they're playing some game, it's not as deep as you think it is. Okay? So again, when we have these conversations, just know that I am vibing, bro. And I love this challenge to my work. But I am, once again, correct. Okay? And I am just looking for somebody who's willing to engage with the levels in a way where they at least bare minimum understand them, and 2, are willing to challenge them or dissect them. So I am waiting for a philosophy channel or a philosophy person to engage with the levels in a serious way, right? And like, isn't here to just like come in with me already being wrong. Like, that's not going to be helpful. You know? But anyways, leave your comments. That felt genuine to me, right? I appreciate that. I'm here to be transparent as much as I can be, but don't get it twisted. I will not only just stand up for myself, but I will make it exactly like I have wanted to be so ruthlessly clear with why I've blocked people, but honestly, I think it will hurt their feelings that they'll go self-harm or something. Because people don't want to see themselves. You don't want to see how much people have had to put up with you because they feel bad for you. So yeah, you're going to get blocked if you're annoying. And I'd rather people block me, honestly, than take pity on me and keep making excuses for my behavior personally. Okay? Trust me, I think about this all fucking day. Philosophy. I'm really confident in what I believe in my levels. Only my levels. I'm not confident about Nietzsche or fucking Jordan Peterson's work or anybody else's work. I'm just very confident about my work because it's mine. Right? So you can school me on X philosopher, you know more than me, definitely. You know more than me. But when it comes to my levels, nobody knows more than me, okay? Chat says, I got a bubble pop when people don't understand Brittany. Finding Brittany made me feel understood. Love that. Shout out. Art doesn't have to appeal to everyone, and that's okay. Please never feel like you have to adapt your content for mass appeal. Certainly don't want to, but I also certainly want to pay my rent. So that's why we cover a lot of really good topics that are like trending, because I can talk about what I love, but also pay my rent. Which we'll talk about here because Hassan's going to mention that's why Chris is covering Ethan. That's why Noah covers celebrities. Because at the end of the day, like we still have to pay our rent and talk about the things we care about, right? I think that's really important, right? Chet says, Brittany, what does the word normative mean? Normative is a subjective term that usually means the average expectation. So when I say like being normal or normative, I'm just saying like the expectation of the bubble, and every normal changes via every bubble. So in some bubbles, it's normal to do XYZ. In some bubbles, it's normal. So when people say like, don't you ever just look at someone and know they're not normal? I mean, normal to the expectation of the bubble at hand. So if the bubble is criticizing somebody and that's because they're like, oh, you're doing our normal wrong. Yeah, well, maybe they're not normal in your bubble. Right? You know, Chet says, Brittany, in order to know everything about your levels, which video of yours should we refer? The video I have linked in the description of my videos. Brittany Simon levels. It's like 2 hours long. You can watch that one until I do an updated one. You know, what about the Machiavellian mothers? Chat, listen to me, chat. Thumbs up for the Machiavellian mothers, guys. Thumbs up, please. Thumbs up, or Tammy's gonna punish me tonight. Just kidding. I love her. I love my wife. Discord said, do you feel like you're capable of masking that way at this point? I personally find it hard to mask now in my work as I create so much freedom in being unmasked in the right way. But yeah, can definitely stifle success if you have specific goals. I think that I can only mask as much as I can, and I'm willing to mask in any situation that makes sense, but I'm unwilling to mask like at home. I'm unwilling. It's non-negotiable to mask at home. I'm more than happy to mask at work to some extent, but not at the expense of my mental health. That's kind of how I think about it. I won't do it at the expense of my mental health, but at the same time, like I won't also allow myself to be unhomed because I won't do what it takes to make money. I will always prioritize my independence, and independence means making enough money to pay your own rent. And for me, that's what that means. For Brittany, that's what that means. I don't have a safe space to go home to. Like, I have parents who will let me live with them, but it is very bad for my mental health because they're so conservative and Catholic and MAGA. It's so bad for my mental health. So going to work and masking is less bad for my mental health, and paying my rent is less bad for my mental health. It's actually pretty good for my mental health, honestly, than going home to my parents. So I will do whatever it takes to avoid that situation. Like, I love working. You know, I don't mind having to mask at work to some extent to get through the day. I'm good with it. I think the way that I've chosen to is like pretty good. And I think it's working. Like, I think it's working, obviously. I feel pretty good. You know, I make pretty good income. I have a good audience. I have a great audience. Fuck, you guys are great. I have a great, position on YouTube. Everybody knows me, which is nice. Like, I feel like I'm really well known in the spheres I want to be known in. I feel like the right people at least know who I am. I feel like the wrong people also know who I am, but we don't think about them. Yeah, I feel really confident. But I do, I always think of better ways I'm willing to mask in order to make life move smoother for me. But yeah, I don't think masking is inherently bad. I just don't do it at home. Because I don't have to. I don't have to. You know what I mean? Everybody has to go to work and be a different version of themselves. I don't know. Nobody who has to go to work and not be different. You know what I mean? It feels a little harder for autistic people sometimes, I think. Discord, no. YouTube chat says that's literally what I'm doing. I have 2 jobs and can't afford my own place in Massachusetts, so I understand exactly what you mean. Bro, Massachusetts, beautiful but expensive. I thought about living there. Beautiful, but so expensive. No joke. Massachusetts, it's crazy in terms of pricing. Beautiful though, wow. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. I always wanted to live there when I was a kid because one of my favorite characters in a book was there. I was like, oh, I'm going to live in Boston. I don't know why I had that accent for Boston, but let's see, I'm reading chat. Yeah, Chad said there's a reason Brittany's chat is roughly the size of a philosophy professor class. Yeah, I feel like I love my community because I really do feel like every time I talk about bigger YouTubers, I steal like 2 or 3 people from their communities to join mine, and I just grab the best ones. I think I always grab the best people, Discord said maybe it's my relationship with autism. I'm still unmasking in key ways, so I don't even feel capable of masking to the extent I used to for work. Yeah, I listen, I'm old. I'm 35. I'll be 36 soon. I have been masking and playing social games my whole life. I have been undiagnosed my whole fucking life. And the only reason I got a diagnosis is because as I got older, it got much harder to mask. And I was like, hey, why am I struggling with masking? Even though I didn't have the term for it, I was just like, why aren't I performing as good at work? Why am I doing that? Why am I more tired? And the truth is now it makes sense. That's pretty common with autistic people as we age. It actually does become literally ADHD as well. It becomes harder to mask. It's just more energy. And as you get old, you just have less energy to do things, right? And masking does take energy. It's why I can't stream for 10 hours. It's why I do cut my stream short and I go, because the masking I'm already doing is enough. If I stay too late on stream, you notice I get a little bit more unmasked. I get a little more impatient and I get a little bit more like, go fuck yourself. You know what and I'm trying not to be like, go fuck yourself every day. You know what I'm saying? Not all stream. So yeah, I literally get physically tired. If you go watch my streams, go watch my longer streams and watch how my face in the beginning is like bright. And by the end of stream, I look like I haven't slept in 10 days. Isn't that crazy? But these streamers like Hassan and all these people, somehow they stream every day for 10 hours and they looking fine as hell by the end of stream. And I'm like, I don't know what drug you're on, but I'm not on it. Okay, I don't know what drug, but please tell me what it is. Oh my God, I love how chat's like, I came from Hassan too. I came from Hassan. I love that. I love that. It's crazy to me. I don't think people understand what a toll that could take on the average person to stream that many hours a day. You know, I don't even know. But Hassan says he is wiped out. He's tired after stream. How could he not be? You know? Stream says Hassan uses nicotine, right? That could help. Maybe I should start getting into nicotine. That's a joke. I don't drink energy drinks. The only thing I drink is tea. Now I know, because I know Hassan does nicotine according to chat. I know people do energy drinks. I don't like them. I think energy drinks taste like poison. I think they taste like literal medicine. You know, chat says poached me from Zestiny. Hello, welcome. I love it. I'll poach all of you. I love that. You're one of my faves too. See, some good people came out of some really toxic communities. You know what I mean? Some really great thinkers came out of fucking toxic ex communities. You know, I'm so fucking glad you're here. But yeah, I cannot. I literally, my brain goes whoop. Like even yesterday after stream, I was kind of here for a bit. My partner's like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, I have zero thoughts in my head. And they were like, really? I was like, I'm wiped. I'm playing DK Country. Leave me alone. And then we played Smash and stuff. But my brain just zaps. And then I have no ability to form a thought, you know? Yeah. Kat says, it's crazy to hear you complain about one of the easiest jobs in the world. I'm autistic, by the way. Okay. Okay. Sounds like you should watch somebody else then, if you can't get it. And I'm not blaming your autism. You know? But like, okay, if that's how you feel, I don't know why you're here, bro. You go to other people's job and tell them how dare you complain. You know what I mean? I don't like to tell anybody to complain about their jobs. You know, you do you. If your job is hard, I feel you. Every job is hard for somebody. You know? Chess says I had to learn how to engage socially online, especially now that I have a job that is more sensitive, even though it's not a 9 to 5. If I mess up, I'm impacting other people. Hey, when you have to rely, you know, when people have to rely on you too, talk about needing to mask or to show up in a particular way, right? Yeah. I think that's a big part of it too. I think the big part of big part of streaming and content creation that's so great is like you can show up more like yourself, but sometimes people really do rely on you, right? People really rely on you. There's so much that goes into it. Like I think people yeah, it is amazing how it changes the dynamic, huh? It really does change the dynamic. That's interesting, yeah. Okay, now let's watch this video about Hassan, speaking of which, because I think it will be interesting. It's not the whole video. We're just going to watch the first like 40 minutes. I watched it already. I pre-watched, guys. I pre-watched. And I pre-watched because I was watching it on my own because I was curious. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of good. Let's talk about it, you know? That says, to be fair, I think they mean the physical and emotional labor normal workers do different than talking for hours. Talking for hours is exhausting, but you're sitting down at home. Yeah, I think everybody's lying. I think this is my most controversial take. All jobs are hard jobs for somebody. My brothers prefer manual labor. They work in construction and prefer it because they don't want to sit down all day. It hurts their butts. My brothers literally prefer to be out in the sun than sitting at home all day because it drives them crazy. Do the job that makes sense for your brain. Do the job that works for you. Every job sucks. By the end of stream, I'm in so much physical pain because I have to sit because I have fibromyalgia. Okay, you all are acting like everybody is sitting here not having some say in the work that they do. You think your job is hard? Congratulations, all jobs are hard. Okay? All jobs are hard. I don't know why you're playing some games like it's not. And all jobs are easy to somebody. Okay? None of my siblings do YouTube. They all think it's way too fucking hard. They're like, that's a hard job. I don't know why you do it. They would rather do their jobs because they think my job is hard. Okay? They think it's easy, but they think it's hard. I think their job is easy, but it's hard. Okay? So like you can keep saying what you want to do all day. Like you can keep like saying it's easy or it's hard. Everything's hard. Everything's easy. This whole comparison game is the thief of all joy. Okay? Comparison is the thief of all joy. If you think it's so easy, do it, bitch. That's what I say. Every time somebody says, how hard is it to dribble a ball? Okay, girl, go ahead and beat LeBron at basketball, bitch. Like, I've heard conservatives say shit like that. Like, oh my God, basketball's so easy. How hard is it to be LeBron? Well, you go be LeBron then. Okay? Chet says, no, that is crazy. Thinking that your job is as hard as a neurosurgeon is wild. Hi, are you 15? Do you know what logic is? Do you really think that's what anyone is saying? Do you really think that's what anyone else is saying? Do you think somebody is literally one-to-one saying being a YouTuber is easier than being a neurosurgeon? Hi, are you fucking stupid? God bless you, bitch. That's what I mean. You're not serious. Please be fucking serious about the conversation. Everyone is so unserious. As if that's what we're saying. As if we're literally saying, oh yeah, working at Walmart. Actually, I think working at Walmart is harder than being a neurosurgeon. Ooh, I said it. I think working at Walmart is harder than being a neurosurgeon. I think it's tougher on your consciousness to an extent. There, I said it, girl. You want to be controversial? Getting paid $7 an hour to have people yell at you? Fuck yeah. No credibility, no status, no fucking perks. Yeah, working at Walmart for $7 an hour, way harder than neurosurgeon. At least as a neurosurgeon, you get the money, you get the status, you get the pussy. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you, bitch. You said, wow, so accepting until someone disagrees. Bro, thank you for paying my bills and engaging in my chat. But just for the record, you know you're not serious, bitch. You know you're in my chat getting a right. You're literally Colin from the vampire show. Do you know Colin, who's an energy vampire? He goes online and like fights with people in chat. That's like, we got a Colin in chat, girl. We got a Colin in chat who's like, he's like, give me your emotional energy. Bro, take my emotional energy, sis. You get my emotional energy, I get paid. It's a win-win, symbiotic relationship. You know what I mean? Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. You know? So funny. Yes, chat said I worked a 16-hour at Ulta, and the emotional labor of having to be nice and smiling all the time to sell as much as possible was insane, bro. I couldn't even imagine. That is a hard fucking job. Ulta? That's crazy. No way. I worked grocery my whole life, and I worked as a professional nanny. Those were the jobs I did before YouTube. Bro, the labor, the emotional labor, bro. And being on my feet was the least of the issue, okay? You know what I mean? No way, bro. But some jobs, you know, everybody play to your strength. If you notice that these kinds of jobs wipe your spoons, do a job that wipes your spoons the least. The least. The less. Chat says you're incredibly delicate to criticism. I am. I'm so delicate. I'm soaking wet right now. Chat says, our Discord says they're literally the same person that's sending Ethan shit to piss him off. I know, they're trolls. They're trolls. I think they think you're getting offended. Shh, I'm so offended. I'm very offended. You're hurting my feelings. Please do not clip this and post this on the internet. Please do not make me a meme that ends up on Reddit. Please. I don't want to go viral. Please don't make this a viral moment. I really love my job. I really love my job, guys. It's really nice. God, it's really... Chat says, does this count as flirting at this point? Oh, this person hella into me right now. Bro, they're like, I love her. They actually subscribe to my OnlyFans. Definitely. This troll in chat, 100%. Yeah. Obviously. Chat said, you called me a pussy. Obviously, it affected you. Speaking of pussies, if you want to see mine, you can subscribe to my OnlyFans. Oh, I'm so funny. So funny. Chat, I'm not offended because I call you a pussy. I'm stating a fact. Okay? Heaven with the super chat. Hello. Says, just came back to say you've created one of the best places on the internet. I love it. Never leave bubble, 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 bubble. Just kidding. I added that part in. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for super chatting. I appreciate you. Just says, don't threaten us with a good time, Brittany. I'm being threatened in chat right now with a good time. They're loving this. They're like, oh my God, Brittany Simon is getting triggered. My favorite part of streamers is when they yell at chat. I know some people don't like it, but I think it is the funniest thing and we're laughing at the chatter. I want you to know we're laughing at you. When Hassan yells at his chat, I am laughing at the chatter. That's why it's so funny. When people block chat, that is my favorite fucking shit. I think it is so funny. When Asmin used to block people, I used to laugh. I used to literally would gag out loud. It was so funny. So yeah, thank you for making us laugh today. I really appreciate it. I don't know why it's so funny. It's like watching people fall. There's some part of it that's too funny. I can't handle it. I do like watching people fall. My partner goes, hey, I found videos of people falling. And I was like, only if they don't get really hurt though. If they get really hurt, I feel bad. Don't get really hurt, guys. Just know we're laughing at your expense, but not if you get really hurt. Only if you get somewhat hurt. Just a little bit hurt. Okay? We do enjoy it. We think it's funny. You know? Okay, now, should we talk about Hassan, the least controversial person on the internet now? Yes, America's funniest home videos. I see you. Dude, the way I loved America's funniest home videos, that's exactly my shit. Give me a fucking... Give me like a little noise as the person falls. You know what I mean? I love that. That's my shit right there. Okay, now, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because right now the Ethan Hassan thing has gotten too crowded and intense and everyone's kind of lost in the soup for me. So like at this point, we're just strictly observing it from an aerial perspective. There's just like no side to take at this point because like no one's actually having a real conversation about anything. They're just trying to one up each other with like weird memes or something. I still think Ethan is more wrong than Hassan is wrong. And I'll sort of explain why. But let's literally observe this to the best of our ability from just a humans gonna human perspective. So here's Hassan and how he's talking about the situation. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because people will say, oh, Brittany's only reviewing Ethan. Brittany's only critical of Ethan. Why isn't Brittany critical of Hassan? First, I do have criticisms of Hassan. But Ethan is the main character causing the problems. Since Ethan is the one shadowboxing everybody, Ethan's the one making it all about him. Ethan made Palestine an Ethan issue. Ethan is so fucking in his own ego. He turned Palestinian genocide into the Ethan hour. So yeah, I'm gonna be more critical of Ethan fucking Klein. He somehow turned the genocide of a whole population about him. How did he do that so easy? How did he do that? And here we are allowing it to keep going. So just to be clear, at this point, it's obvious that Ethan is in no way serious, and there have been some new developments. We'll talk about it with this video. But no matter what happens from here on out, it is highly unlikely that Ethan will ever realize he was in the wrong and how he was in the wrong, right? He'll never figure it out. So let's watch Hassan talk about it so you guys can see the difference of energies between how they talk about the same issue, right?
Your voice is insufferable to listen to, Jesus Christ, which I guess people don't care about since they're mostly
So he's reading chat, chat's yelling at him.
bots. What is going on right now? Did a bunch of Ethan Klein heads just join the chat or something? You are in the Philip DeFranco Thumbo. We're getting brigaded again? By where? By what? School's out? Oh, Ethan just ended his stream. Is that what it is? Did he end his stream? Is that why so many people are coming in here to be like, dude, why are you afraid to debate Ethan? I'm not. I don't know what kind of lies he's telling over there, but I'm not afraid. I've been saying I want to do that from the jump. Who the is
Actually, Hassan is wrong. From the jump, he actually said, Ethan's okay. He's just going through something. Guys, give Ethan his chance. I don't want to debate him. He's my friend. He's just in a bad spot right now. He'll be okay. That's what Hassan initially said. And now Hassan is saying, okay, Ethan, since you're not backing down, since you're doubling down, since you've been more than cruel, since you've targeted pro-Palestinian content creators, since you've advocated for me to get deplatformed, kid gloves off. Kid gloves off. Now I will debate you. Now I will stand up to you. That is why I gave more credit to Hassan. Because in the beginning, Hassan truly thought good of Ethan. And now it's clear Ethan's not going to change. So now Hassan has to take off the kid gloves. Okay?
Ethan? Oh, never mind. This guy's just a random hater. It happens. Ethan's talking about you right now, saying he will call you live, no prerequisites. They're saying he's ready to debate now. They're being farmed again. Yeah, this is a farming operation. People are too stupid to recognize is happening. Dan can DM me right now. If Ethan actually wants to debate, I'll call him right now. I don't give a hell yeah. Here, I DM Dan. I said, Ethan, if Ethan actually wants to talk, I'm willing and able. He's saying you won't answer the phone. I just DM'd Dan. The frogs won, bro. What the is happening? What do you mean?
I don't trust chat. Chat does this meme. I learned it when I was in the debate boro bubble, where they'd message you and say like, "Oh, Ethan's crying. Call him." And at first, I didn't know what that was, but it's actually like the audience creating problems. It's like it's not real. Like, "Oh, hey, call so and so. They're crying," and I'm like, "What?" And so like I don't trust this chatter to be serious about Ethan saying, "Oh, Ethan says he'll talk to you." It's probably just a trick to get Hassan to call Ethan and reach out when it's not even happening. Do you know what I'm saying?
Why would I
Or it could be real. We don't know.
say no to debating Ethan right now? There has never been a moment where I've said that I wouldn't talk to Ethan directly. That is what I've been saying. He will not do it. He doesn't want to do it.
Oh, so Ethan did say it according to my chat, but then backed away. Is this from the last live stream? So it was real enough, but then he backed out. Because I know how this video is going to go, right? So I know that later, I'll just say it now. Sam Cedar, Ethan claimed to be open to talking to Sam Cedar, which we're going to talk about in this video. And then Ethan said if it doesn't work with Sam Cedar after that, maybe he'll talk to Hassan, right? He wants to talk to Sam first, from my understanding, right? Okay, chat's saying the same thing. He wants to talk to Sam first and then Hassan, because he thinks he's that right. Which, see, now we're going in with debate mindset. Alex O'Connor said this with Rhett the other day, yesterday. We just watched it, where he said the problem with debates is it's not the place to facilitate real conversation. It's a place to win your opponent against your opponent. So the dilemma is like Ethan and them, no one's coming in with good faith. They're coming in to pwn for their audiences. Now Hassan's audience is going to be via Ethan's audience. And now it's like, doom, 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 doom. Who will win? Hassan v. Ethan. So are any of these people actually trying to solve the matter? At this point, what's the point? Ethan isn't going to change his mind. Hassan might as well get the win, right?
It's not real. He's just baiting. Is he even live? I'm confused. Why are people just like, are people just stupid? Are people just making shit up?
Hassan knew this before platforming him. Ian's refusal to defend Hila and Ethan because they're Israeli. The refusal to acknowledge Hila's culture and background and why she
I
was
don't
in
think he's
IDF
interested
in the
in
first
debating.
place.
I think he's interested in crying about it. Like I said, I DM'd I DM'd Dan. I'm being farmed, and so are chatters. He's saying you admitted to be an anti-Semite. I'm dying. Why did I join? Oh yeah, no, of course.
Ignoring bad empanada shooting
Hassan
Hila
refuses to
in
do
a
any
video
actual
game where you
activism, makes him
roleplay
remotely
as
uncomfortable
killing
about even
IDF. He
simply
actually
boycotting Coca-Cola. I have been boycotting Coca-Cola ever since it actually joined the BDS list. I haven't drank Coca-Cola or purchased Coca-Cola at all. Ian implying Ethan is greedy, money hungry, that anti-Semitism is all in his head. Hassan claiming Ethan is just pushing drama for clout and views. It's correct. That's not what I say either. He's not going to debate you. Is probably bait. Is this the reason why he did this? Am I getting baited by random?
Chet says, what a dumb question, not dumb question. What does farming mean in this context? I think farming means for like views and see, Ethan is content brained, which Hassan is going to say later on. And I agree with. Ethan is 100% always about content. That's why remember when he debated Myron Fresh and Fit? And I said, why is he engaging with Fresh and Fit? He already knows they're pieces of shit. Why is he doing this for money and clout? Because Ethan is debate brained. Ethan is clout brained. Ethan doesn't care about the issues. He cares about pwning the enemy. He just wants somebody to fight with. That's how he gets his adrenaline met, right? Think about it. As a small content creator, literally, if I cover Ethan just a couple times a month, I can pay my rent with that. How much money do you think he's making off of this? I need you to understand that they are bringing in so much money the longer they keep this going. And I'm telling you right now, like this is like Ethan is content brained and some part of him really thinks he's right. But let me tell you this, the bottom line for Ethan has always been about money. Same with Trisha. When Ethan was talking to Trisha on Frenemies, like Ethan is thinking about like, oh, we're going to make a lot of money doing this. His viewers jump up like 10,000 viewers every time he covers Hassan or Ian or any of the drama. Do you know what I mean? So like, again, like, I think like, I do think Ethan, a part of him is authentic. I'm authentic. Hassan's authentic. But I think all of us know like this also helps pay the bills. You know, at the end of the day, like, I don't think Ethan is genuinely going to change his mind. I don't think he's actually going to care what Sam Cedar says. I don't think he actually cares about Hassan. I think he thinks he's right and he figures I might as well get the bag while I do this. He's doing this for his pride. He's not doing it because he believes in anything or is open to anything.
In the chat. Okay, chat lied again. He didn't say let's do it right now. He said when does he want to do it? He still thinks you will dodge after AB said you're down.
Also, I am exaggerating when I say like I talk about this a couple times a month and I can pay my rent. It's like a saying. It's like a joke. It's not a literal. It's not like I literally make enough to pay my rent, but I make enough to pay significant bills is what I'm trying to say. Obviously, my whole content pays for my bills. But like if I just cover Ethan a couple times a month, I can pay a significant amount of my bills. Maybe not my rent, but significant.
I mean, I literally DM'd Dan. Okay. I DM'd Dan. I don't know why he keeps saying I'm afraid. I'm going to text Dan now, as a matter of fact. Is bait? Please go back to the news. Hold on. I texted Dan as well. I said, hey, I DM'd you on Discord, but I'm totally open to talking to Ethan.
Iraq. No, all the Iraqis, all the Jews were expelled from Iraq. Anyway, it doesn't really matter.
It does matter.
Implying Anissa's heritage has suffered more than the Jews. The implication that Ethan is controlling the narrative, mass manipulating his audience, and controlling his crew hostage. But
Try to stop allowing your comments to be farmed and reflect badly on this community. I jumped in a sec and he's saying you've done Holocaust denial. I have never done Holocaust denial. I don't know what the he's talking about.
He's talking about the Chinese one. Ethan is claiming Hassan did Holocaust denial, from my understanding, because the Uyghur situation, the Muslims in China, right?
Oh. He 100% wants a date at a later time because he needs to compile all the clips for his gotcha
Right? He's not talking about the Jews being Holocausted, right?
moments and he needs to actually prepare. Even then, I'm still down to do it whenever he wants to do it. I guess, yeah. I guess he's just not really interested, which is disappointing. Him compiling clips doesn't make him less wrong, Lamau. Yeah, exactly. He can compile all the clips. It's clips of me. The point of me talking to him directly to his face, whether over Discord or even in person, is that when he is clipping something out of context, I can correct the record in real time and he can't manipulate that information and his audience will have to see the truth. Because if you noticed, a lot of what's going on.
Chad says Ethan is more ego than Cloud. I will agree with you on that. I do think Ethan is more ego than Cloud. He really wants to be right. But I do think he's also heavily motivated by knowing this is good for views because his views have been down. H3's podcast gets way less views than I got years ago, which to be fair, everyone's views are down, right? Not my views. My views are up. But like, that's because I'm a small channel. Big channels, their views are down, generally speaking. Brett and Link, their views are down. Like Good Mythical Morning, views are down. Views are down. And I think that that's just a testament to where where people are in general. But I do think Ethan is more ego-driven than Cloud-driven. But I think heavily, like Cloud he's definitely thinking about it. Like he's definitely not mad about making money because I saw his viewership jump from 30,000 to 50,000 when he talked about Ian or Hassan. And I was like, damn, that's a pretty significant difference,
If you notice, a lot of what's going on is just Ethan lying to his audience and his audience not even being remotely interested in learning what the truth of the matter is. So that is the reason why I want to watch the Context Nuke. If he wants to do that, I'll watch it with him. Or that is the reason why I want to be in an environment where he can't control the narrative. He can't just like stop the flow of information, because every single time he has actually brought me up to his audience, he has basically lied. He's lied about the context of in person without the crew. No, the crew can be there. I don't give a shit. What? Oh no, Dan is gonna.
Chad says, why do you think the views are down? Is it political shift or just people getting bored? Well, first of all, people are really suffering right now. Guys, it's really hard for the average person right now. Everybody is suffering. If you make average, you're not like rolling in it. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you are suffering in this economy right now. And people are working more. They have less time to be online. They're busy. They have kids, school. They have other things they have to do. And people are burnt out, right? So I think people are burnt out because even like Good Mythical Morning, which is like very neutral content, is getting less views. I just don't think people have the spoons right now to care. But, it will come back. People will find the time. People will come back. But this is normal, right? And yeah, chat says there's more content available. There is more content. The demographics change things. TikTok is widely better for people's habit of scrolling, right? Yeah, like I think there's a lot of reasons. There's just like a significant shift in everything happening. Like, do you guys like when you watch videos, do you sit down and watch them or do you do other things while you watch? Some people are reporting, I saw a podcast snippet with, what's that guy's name from SNL who dated Kim Kardashian? He was saying they're running into a problem of creating content that holds people's attention without them needing to scroll. And he said a lot of YouTubers will create like whole films or movie shows or Pete Davidson, thank you, whole pieces of content that basically you can watch without looking, which creates like an ability for them to watch at the same time. Like, I mean, yeah, like we're in a shift. In the shift, you know, people are going to have to figure it out. And so there's just going to be a difference. Like for me, I'm really optimistic. I am definitely a kind of neurodivergent people that does watch multiple things at the same time. I'm always doing multiple things. I mean, heck, to run this stream, I have to look at 4 different windows. Like I'm used to doing multiple things at the same time, but I also can sit in a movie theater through a movie and enjoy myself. I can sit through a film without looking at my phone, but you know, I definitely put a lot of TV on for noise background while I do other things. But I was doing that before the internet. Before the internet, my mom used to have the TV on while we were watching things while we were cleaning. It's not the habit, it's the way you interact with the habit. You know, I still love a good movie. I still love sitting for a film and not worrying about my phone. But I think people, maybe it's a lost art, maybe. I don't know. Do people sit and watch movies with their families? Like my family, we used to do movie nights. Like every night we'd watch something together, and every weekend we'd watch like a longer movie together. Do you guys do that anymore? Does anybody have movie nights with their families? You know, turn off the devices, everybody sit down and watch a movie and talk only about the movie. You know, I think like culture is shifting. Like I was thinking about iPad parents, like iPad kids. You know how people are like iPad kids are the worst? I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I think like if I had a child, I would want them to have a computer set up. Like if I had a kid, I'd love it if they were into technology, right? Like that'd be so great. But I also know that I would do other things with them. I'd make sure we did other things together. I tell my partner all the time, like, hey, I've been in the house too many days in a row. We got to go outside. Like, and then we just like step outside and go for like a little walk or something, or I spend time on my balcony. I get outside, right? Like I know I can sense it in myself. Like, when I nannied, the last family I nannied before I retired and became a YouTuber full time is I nannied a family of 5 kids, cutest kids in the whole world, cutest family, sweet as buttons. And they had iPads and they were into technology, and they had an autistic kid. He loved his iPad, let me tell you. And I would say, let's go outside though. Let's make sure we get our outside time. And it was great. We'd go on walks and adventures, and then we'd come back and we'd all play Smash or Monopoly or hang out together. The idea is like to introduce balance into your kids' lives. But if parents are overwhelmed by this economy, if they're working 2 jobs, if childcare is $3,000 a month, if they are like overwhelmed, then they're not having balance in their own lives, let alone instilling that in their kids. How are you going to instill balance in your children when you don't have balance yourself? Like I remember being the kid where our mom would be like 1 hour and 64 and then you're done. And then after the hour, my mom would come and unplug everything and we'd have to go outside. And my mom instilled in us, like, take a fucking break. Take a fucking break. And like, that's really important. Here on this job, I have to get off my butt and go take a break. Look, I know we joke about it, like, oh, office jobs are so easy. You look at the mortality rates of office jobs, it's pretty high, guys. Working in an office all day in your chair, you actually end up getting illnesses and diseases at a higher rate than people who work outside. You are not getting the vitamin D. You are not getting movement. You are literally having spinal problems because you're not engaging properly with the way you sit. So we can joke. My mom always used to say your dad was fit when he worked in the shop and got fat when he worked in an office, right? That was always the joke. Oh, you work in an office, you're going to be unhealthy. So like, yeah, you can rot in an office. Just because a job looks easy doesn't mean it's healthy. Doesn't mean it's good for you. Doesn't mean it's actually what you want. So make sure you incorporate some balance into your life. 10 minutes a day, girls. Activate your body for at least 10 minutes a day, and I tell you, you will see a difference. Look, Hassan plays basketball every morning. That's how he stays in shape. Good for him. You know that? Before stream every day, he goes and plays basketball, allegedly. From my this could be wrong. If you guys are fans, you can tell me. But I'm pretty sure that's true, right? Like he says he goes and does basketball every day before stream. That's amazing. Chad says, my dog keeps me in shape. Hey, perks of having a dog. You got to walk him. No? Yeah. Working out, moving your body, it really makes a difference. Highly recommend.
Pull up information. Who cares?
Hassan, I'm ready to get on a call with you without any prerequisite.
Oh, there. Ethan just said it. I'm happy to get on a call with you. I watched this literally this morning and I already forgot it. That's so funny. Ethan literally said it. Hey, Hassan, I'll do a thing with you.
it. You don't have to watch the video. I think it's time we talk it out. And let me say, and let me
Oh,
add
damn. I must have been really sipping my coffee hard because I just don't know why I don't remember this part.
a caveat, or not a caveat, but a prediction. I think that Hassan, being the ever coward that he is and always constantly moving the goalposts, will find a way to just
I've literally been. Well, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Bro-
see? Okay. Do you see how Ethan says, hey, I want to talk to Hassan, but he's a weaselly little fucking liar, dude, and he's going to fuck me over, and I just know it. You can't talk to that person. You can't talk to that person. Do you know what what? That's not how that works. Yeah, I'll talk to him, but he's a bitch. Okay, well, now we're fucked. Where's the good faith? Where's the good faith in that, girl?
Oh, ignore him, please, for the love of Allah. Dude, what are you talking about? What do you mean? What the do you mean? Do you think I'm not a 33-year-old man who is equipped to talk about the issues I speak of? Why do you watch me if you think that I cannot deal with this conversation? This is exactly the same way that some of you dumb are crying about me talking to Andrew Tate before I talk to Andrew Tate.
What?
Shut
If he talks to Andrew Tate, I mean, I already told you I stopped watching Hassan as a content creator because I think he's too much of a man, too much misogyny for me. But I swear to God, if he talks to Andrew Tate now in current times, you know what I mean? Is this an old thing? He already talked to Tate? He already talked to him? Was that years ago? Okay, years ago was fine because nobody knew years ago, really. We all just thought he was a troll. Okay. Not current him. Not current Hassan. Okay, not current Hassan. Old Hassan. Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter. Old Hassan, valid. New Hassan, I'd be disappointed. You know?
Shut the up. I know how to deal with this, okay? There is a reason why it got to this point. It's because I know exactly how to deal with this. He's constantly farming you, man. He doesn't want a serious conversation. That's what the chatter means. I know, but it doesn't matter because I think no matter how oblivious and parasocial Ethan's fans are, in a direct
Discord said, why are even leftist men so obsessed with talking to manospheres? Because the views are there. I'm telling you, the hardest part of our job is how do you be a good person when all the bad people are getting all the press? How do good people rise the ranks of fame if they're not willing to do what bad people do? And if we use bad people to rise the ranks of fame, all it does is make bad people as famous. That's the problem. That's the conundrum we are all in. It's literally a conundrum. Who just made the video essay? Which girlie just made the video essay on this? Should we even be talking about predators on the internet if it makes them more famous? And I hate this conundrum. This is a true moral. You want to talk about philosophy? This is a true ethics dilemma. It is a genuine ethical dilemma. Bad people are willing to do whatever it takes to get famous. That's why they're famous. That's why they're rich. That's why they're popular. And the rest of us make moral decisions, ethical decisions to not do that. And that's why we're not. And then the question is, well, fuck. If we don't do it, then they're going to be the only people see. So what do? I hate this. You want to know what I wrestle with every fucking day of my life is this ethical quandary. How do I get more famous and popular without selling my soul? How do I do it without being unethical? How do I do it without becoming every shitty person on the internet who's ever existed? Yeah, it fucking keeps me up at night. It doesn't keep bad people up at night, no, though. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck.
conversation between me and him, it's going to be very difficult for him to dance around certain points that he has made. It's going to be very difficult to actively manipulate the truth, to be like, what did you mean by this? Especially if he pulls a clip that's out of context and I am ready to explain to him what the context is. Do you understand? So stop backseating. Ethan knows that. That's precisely why he has changed the goalposts over and over again. Because ultimately, the only
Yes.
alternative they have is this.
He keeps changing the goalpost. That's why I say at this point, it's just a mess. At this point, what is Sam Cedar going to talk to Ethan about? Because Ethan's going to be like, yeah, but they did this to me. They did this to me. What are you, a 5-year-old who's yelling at your siblings? Hey, let's go back to the very beginning. What was our initial disagreement? Start there. What was our actual disagreement? Because you're still wrong. You don't need all this other stuff to cloud it, but that's why he keeps changing the goalpost.
You're a man, baby. You scream like a moron. Shut the up, terrorist. There is no point. He knows he has nothing. He can't pause me mid-sentence if he's talking to me directly. And if he can't pause me mid-sentence and cut valuable context out of that conversation, he will not be able to have that conversation, especially because so much of what he has presented so far to his dumbass audience, who actually do believe him somehow, which is shocking to me, is...
Guys, for you asking why is Hasan saying 33 is old, he's saying he's grown enough to stand up for himself. That's what he's trying to convey to you. When people say, I'm 33 years old, I'm an old person, he's saying, I am adult enough to have this conversation. I'm not a kid. That's the context of the... Are you sure I'm the autistic one? You know what I mean? But that's what that means, guys. I obviously know at 35, I'm so young. But I also know I'm 35 fucking years old. I'm an adult. I know what I'm doing. But also, I'm young and I'm immature and I'm going to be very different when I'm 50 and hopefully more wise. But that's all he's trying to say. He's trying to say, I'm 33 years old. I'm a grown up. I know how to talk to Ethan Klein. Because his audience is saying, don't talk to Ethan. Don't talk to Ethan. As if he's afraid because Ethan's so much older. Ethan's almost 40. Ethan's 39 years old. So the insinuation is that there's a power dynamic because Ethan's almost 40 and Hasan's he's just into his 30s. But Hasan is saying, you think I can't handle myself against Ethan fucking Klein? That's what that is about.
That I've been harassing him for a year. You know what I mean? Every single chatter that have been long-term community members, long-term subscribers, you look back at their chatting history and you notice that they stopped chatting before, but you certainly, until recently, they didn't chat, but they stopped chatting after October 7. This chatter is a great example. Okay, Moist Critical fan has been in here sporadically. 16-month subscriber, following since probably a long time ago, not March 15, 2025, but stopped following after October 7 and literally thinks I'm a terrorist now. I think it's valuable for a person like this to understand what.
Ooh, Midwest Cowboy, welcome to memberships. Love your username, Midwest Cowboy. Love that. Is that a Chappell Roan reference?
What the truth of the matter is, not just the truth of the matter on like Ethan constantly lying about how I've been harassing him or some shit, but instead the truth about Israel and the truth about what Israel has done, especially because a lot of these guys personally think that they are pro-Palestine. If they are pro-Palestine, I think that they're amenable to my position. They'll be understanding of it. Why are we even talking about him? Like, what do you think the best case scenario is here? Do you think he's going to do a 180 and start criticizing Israel publicly, or are you just hoping to get your buddy back? Like, this drama is so relevant? No, dude. It's irrelevant to you because you see it as drama. I don't see it as drama. I see it as a content creator.
Chat said, oh, I didn't know people can read chat receipts like that. Oh, yeah, I can even do it on YouTube. I go to YouTube all the time. Before I ban somebody, I check their chat history to see what they've been saying. Like JJ, I can go back all the way to like your comment section on like other videos and other live streams. And I can see like what you were chatting on other streams and stuff by clicking on your name. That's why I don't just usually ban people. I check for a second to see if their other comments were trolly too, and then I ban them unless they're being obnoxious. But it is kind of a cool feature. Yeah, it is cool. It allows me to hesitate before banning because I can see. So just a heads up.
That has like 30,000 people watching him, that is constantly spending every waking moment every pro-Palestinian voice out there.
Now, chat says Ethan's chat is actually wild, though. They act and talk like they're in a cult. I'll say this. If you're a big content creator, okay, you're going to have a part of your audience that's crazy. But I also think, regardless of the size of content creator you are, if you yourself are a very particular kind of person, you will also attract a majority of that particular kind of person. And I think Ethan's audience is not the greatest. Look, Hasan's audience has definitely said some shit about me. They've been very unhappy with me sometimes. They talk about me on Reddit. But generally speaking, I've been very okay with Hasan's audience's criticism of me. H3's audience, way worse than Hasan's. In terms of interaction, way worse than Hasan's, right? Audrey, welcome to memberships. Thank you so much. I think by far, though, the worst communities I've had to interact with were the Debate Bro communities. So like Destiny's community, by far the worst community. By far the cruelest, most cesspool-y group of people I've ever seen in my life. But H3's audience is a combination. The nicest community was probably Dream's community in terms of large streams. They're like very nice. Let's see, who else? Yeah, It just depends on who you're interacting with. But I think that Hassan's audience is much better than Ethan's. And Hassan's audience, I don't mind their criticisms of me. Oh, Metaficel's audience, one of the worst. Metaficel's audience, one of the worst groups of people, for sure. They're so fucking obnoxious, the way they spam my comment sections. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Chad says, you are grifting off genocide. You say you purposely speak about conflicts to pay your bills. That's your motivation. Don't project it onto others and try to excuse yourself. Scum. What do you think this person's going through right now? Like, what do you think they're hearing? Do you think the news is making money off genocides for telling the news? We all have to make money off advertisement. Yes, we talk about trending topics. Genocide bad. Wow, super brave take, bros. I think we all agree on that. Talking about it, though, good for everybody. But I don't know if you noticed, I'm talking about Hassan and Ethan right now. We're not really even talking about Palestine anymore, since these boys just be fighting anyways. Okay? You can call me scum all you want, but you're the one who took the time to write that comment when you didn't even understand the context. I'm sorry you have to learn the hard way that everybody pays their bills this way. They talk about trending topics that everyone's talking about. And for the record, I get demonetized when I talk about Palestine. So fuck yourself. When I talk about Palestine and I say pro-Palestine or I say genocide, I get demonetized. So you can go fuck yourself. When I talk about Ethan and Hassan and their drama, I get monetized. When I talk about Palestine, I get de-fucking monetized. So you can go fuck yourself. I don't make money because YouTube demonetizes the word genocide. That's why FD Signifier has to say G-side. People don't even say the word genocide because they don't want to get demonetized. So you got something else you want to say? I make money talking about Ethan fucking Klein because he's a drama hog. Okay? I get money talking about Hassan because he's a drama hog. They're literally drama. They're just views. They're just views. I'm not making views off Palestine. I'm making views off two boys on the internet who are fighting.
Are you stupid? Is this impossible for you to understand? Even if Ethan doesn't say, oh, my bad, this whole thing was a misunderstanding. I'm sorry that I actively tried to deplatform you while simultaneously calling you anti-Semite over and over again for the better part of this past year. It's not about him going, oh, my bad, I'm sorry, I've changed up my mind. It's about actually showing his fairly large community of potential allies the situation, the actual situation, okay? The guy who's doing Canary Mission style to an audience of progressives is someone that I have to deal with. I don't want to, but it's something that I have to do. How is this too difficult to understand? What makes you think he will give you any room to combat the misinfo? What do you mean? What is he going to do? Yell over me and go la 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 and like act like he's he can't hear me? I think a lot of people will understand what that looks like if he does that. Talk to Sam Hyde.
Ew.
What the
Ew.
Ethan Klein fan account suspended or deactivated. What is this guy doing? What are Ethan's fans doing now? Guy who is so against anti-Semitism that he's like promoting a actual.
Look, Hassan said this, I think briefly, something to the effect of like, people are like, why don't you just ban people from your chat? And he goes, you can't just ban everybody. Even I learned that. If you ban everybody, one, your stream doesn't get action. And two, that just means like less people will hear you. If you want to be heard, if you want the most people watching you, if you want your message to be heard by most people, you have to engage with haters because they, yes, pay the bills, and two, they're the ones who make the streams go viral. Look, people who have good lives and touch grass don't make things go viral, guys. Okay, I know it's hard to believe, but like, yeah, like people who are busy living their lives and kissing their kids, like they don't make shit go viral. Unless it's something cute from like fucking Jack Black meeting Tanner or something, you know? So Hassan can't ban everybody who comes in to be a hater, and he has to engage with his chat because that's what, at the end of the day, will push him. And Hassan has said he wants to be seen. He wants to be popular, which is really valid. He thinks he has a message that more people should hear. I think that's a really good way to do it. You know? That's a really good way to make things happen. Yeah, Chet says healthy people don't create controversy. Look, every day, I thank the Lord that my parents do not care about being on the internet. My parents might be MAGA voters, which I'm not happy about, but they certainly are too busy living their lives to be on the internet arguing with people. Do you know what I'm saying? And I thank God every day my family is reasonable. My siblings, none of them do it. Not one of my siblings spends any of their time arguing on Twitter with anybody, and I thank the Lord every day that this is my family. I don't even have a Twitter. Do you know what I mean? Like, Some of y'all families, some of y'all parents literally are arguing with people on Twitter right now. That's crazy.
Well, neo-Nazi who's a pedophile. Okay, that's cool. Oh, is that my article? Oh, hell yeah. Anyway, Dan and the other handlers are going to relay the message, are not going to relay the message, so you might need to call them directly.
Jess says, what did your parents think of Pope Francis? Honestly, I don't really have an idea of what they think about Pope Francis or that he died. I haven't talked to them about it.
He's not going to pick up that call. What are you, crazy? Anyway, just said Hassan is begging me to call. I have a life, bro. I have kids to take care of. Let's set it up, though. But I want to talk to Sam Cedar first. Oh, so he's backing out. Like, I couldn't even finish my tweet. And he is backed out already. Stop moving the goalpost, Hassan. Yeah. He literally said, I said this 2 hours ago and he waited until 4 p.m. You know what you're doing? Wait, what? I said, he's ending his stream? I said even then that I was down to do it. Dude, there's no way his audience is this stupid, right?
Well,
they have to know what's going on, right? They have to know what's happening. There is 0% chance. There is 0%
Be incredibly
chance.
mad about that. But when Bad Empanada does it,
Ryan Beard. Imagine if Ethan played Call of Duty on stream, then said he was going to try to kill Frogan or another Muslim content creator or creator in a game. Everyone would rightly be incredibly mad about that. But when Bad Empanada does it to Gila, Hassan defends it. Oh, you guys told me Ryan Beard. Is Ryan on Twitter? Ryan, get off Twitter. Ryan, you guys told me Ryan was supporting Ethan for some reason. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like Bad Empanada, so I'm not interested in like Bad Empanada support. Like, I don't think Bad Empanada is I don't think he's good faith. I like Ryan. Ryan and I have a good working friendship, and Ryan actually has been on one of my podcasts. Yeah, I don't know about this take because Ethan says shit all the time. Like, yeah, I don't know about that. I'm gonna stay out that one. That sounds messy.
with Hila, Hassan defends it. That's insane. You nailed it on the head there, man. This guy's a smart dude. Smart guy, man. Angel's on his body. He's
Oh
absolutely
my
right. Angel's all
God.
up and
He's
down that thing,
he's
bro.
literally.
You know what I mean? Angels be giving you lap dances, bro. All
I
up
said
and down
yes
your body.
immediately. I don't chat much, but you are really getting baited here. There is zero good that will come out of this at this point. Out of sight, out of mind. Just the way you have addressed this mess so many times, I believe in you. I mean, he's never said that he would be directly willing to talk to me until this moment. So I think, you know, this is a little bit different. I've been saying that I would debate him for 6 months.
I read that his chat was trying to give him bad info. I don't think he actually said anything wrong.
Denim like react to
This
like
guy's
a guy
name is
saying some
Stans.
crazy shit. He's like the dogs are everywhere. They're
This is all this is just him addressing his personal grievances. Everyone's against him. Just schedule it and dog walk him. I'll talk anytime, any place, but I don't think he wants to smoke right now. That's what it is. If he's so convinced, if he is so firmly, if he stands by his principles, he should be able to talk to me right now. It's been what? It's been 4 months. 4 months. 4 months of me. Just call him. I can't directly call him, chatter. I have to call him through Dan. Rewind for 4 minutes.
Deportation, holds or has held illegal or improper material on his hard drive, regularly threatens to post the names and address of his online critics as a tactic to
Hassan, this stream by Ethan is called Hassan and iDubbbz Caught in 4K, featuring Historic Cope. I don't know what Historic Cope is. So did he make a document saying like these things are true? I hate this. How did this is a see what I mean? What does this have to do with Palestinian lives? What does this have to do with Jews? What does this have to do with anything? What are you trying to prove? Are you just trying to prove like everyone's bad? You're both bad. You want me to make a list of how you both suck? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? What is this whole conversation devolved into? Are we not lost in the sauce a bit, girls? I feel like we really are lost in the sauce here. Okay. Crab membership for 1 month. Thank you so much. Says, I think you've pulled more people from toxic communities than you know. People are rightfully IMO. Guys, help me. Ashamed of spaces they used to be a part of. Hey, we've all been there, girl. Happy to have you as a member. Happy to have you here. I feel like this is what I say when men, I'm sorry, men are trained to not problem solve. How is this? I want to see two girls get in a fight like this. Can we have some girl beef, please? And see how girls come together to problem solve? Can we have some girl beef, please? Oh, girls don't have beef. Like, what is this beef? What the fuck is this beef right now? What am I watching? This is what I'm saying. Girls, this is not important. This is not deep. This is two boys trying to, I don't know, compare penis sizes or something. I don't even know what's happening. That was very binary transphobic of me. But you know what I mean? Like, what is happening? Like, what is even this conversation that's happening? Who are two girls who got beef like this? You know what I mean? I just don't get it. This feels so silly to me. Gabby and Trisha. First of all, Trisha's non-binary, but Gabby and Trisha. Okay, can I get some serious people though? You know, Ethan and Hassan think they're serious. Who are two girls who think they're serious who fight? You know, because Trisha and Gabby aren't serious. You know what I mean? Destiny and Hassan. Thank you, chat. Thank you. Exactly. Hila and Anissa. But they're not, no offense, they're not thinkers. I'm talking about like, Hassan is kind of like a thinker a little bit, and Ethan thinks he's like a thinker. Anna Kasparian and every other leftist woman. That's a good example. That didn't end well, but Anna didn't end well though. Anna didn't end well. Fuck, never mind. I hate it. It's all these people in this bubble. None of them are serious. Like, none of them are serious about deconstructing. All of them are serious about winning though. Yeah, none of them are serious about deconstruction. That's crazy. But man, the views are crazy. Isn't that amazing? Like, the views really are there because it appeals to the ugliness in all of their viewers. It really does. Like, the ugliness in all of the viewers, they love this shit. I mean, I do love watching it from far away. When I say I don't want to be a part of it, I mean that. I do not want to be a part of this mess. Because none of it is serious. Like, none of it is even, it's just so reality TV, huh? Chat says, I think Gabby and Trisha think they're serious. Well, everyone's got an opinion, Sawyer, welcome to memberships. Happy to have you here.
Silence them. Has sent death threats to Mr. Pavlov
Is he
a little
that
bit.
stupid that he didn't think I was
Before
saying
they
that?
I'm asking, like, is he a trust? Is he just?
Is he actually so dumb that he thought that I wouldn't say yes immediately? It's right here.
So this is 1 day ago. So you see all the chat prompts sent calling her the raider of Ramallah. Well, here you go. Ela Klein is the raider of Ramallah, terrorist kidnapper.
Hassan conveniently wants to call in at the time the show ends. Hassan cleverly skipped over the bad empanadas court documents. To be fair, Hassan did say yes like a couple hours ago.
You know what? Yeah,
Hassan
that's
showed
tough.
the stream
That's
and
very,
when you saw
very.
he watched Dennis
Wow.
clip.
You know,
I don't give a about the
He did
Dennis clip. Why the would I care about the Dennis clip? What is this? Hassan can vacate the premises of the crew and Ethan need to go home. They ain't on the call, dude. Wake up, Hassan. You're a coward, Hassan. Hassan wants to call right now, I think. Literally takes 1 minute of research to find out how effed up empanada is.
All right, now let's get Hassan on the line. Yeah, right. Obviously not.
Actually, okay.
What a coward, dumb bitch to challenge me now at 4 o'clock. What a loser.
Oh my God. He's so bad. Fuck. That's why Hassan is gonna waste his time talking to Ethan. But hey, the view's gonna be crazy. The views, they're gonna make so much fucking money off this. That's what I'm saying. At some point, engaging with Ethan is just a grab for money. Because that's so bad faith. That is so fucked up. Do you know what I'm saying? Ethan is being so fucked up. And then why? He's not going to listen to you. He's not going to change your mind. So at this point, why would you do it except for views and money? Which, hey, honestly, Hassan should make that money, raise it for Palestine, and send it over. Because Hassan knows he's rich enough. He should use this as a charity stream. He'll make a lot of money, and he can give it to Palestinians. That's a win-win.
Bro, I mentioned you 2 hours ago.
2 long hours.
I was doing the news, bro.
Ethan.
2 long hours? What do you mean by that?
Nothing.
I think.
Yeah, I'm in the chat.
It is
I think-
time to wrap it up, though.
I think so. So here's what I want to do, though, just to summarize. Sam said he's going to get back to me at the end of this week.
Okay.
After Thursday, he said, because he's busy with family stuff. By the way, he wrote me back. He was very nice.
That's awesome.
I reached out. I have his email from. I don't know if I explained this on the air. I don't think I did. I have his email from the crowd. I did?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Did I say he was very nice?
Yeah, you said he was nice.
Not 4 months ago,
Yeah,
3
months
said
ago.
he was
Show?
nice to you,
Oh.
yeah.
So yeah, he was very nice. He got.
Chat said Nicki Minaj and Cardi B beefing with other women rappers. Nicki Minaj, who dated and married a predator, and Cardi B, who continues to be with a misogynist cheater, who she recently got out of that relationship with him, which I'm proud of her for. But Cardi B has been transphobic and had lots of issues, internalized misogyny to the T. Both of those women, who I love, both of them make great music, love their music, listen to their music all the time, cry to their music all the time, angry to their music all the time, girl power to their music all the time, love their music, love their vibes. But also, both of those women are highly problematic, incredibly problematic. I'm talking about thinkers, y'all. I'm talking about deconstructionist thinkers. I'm talking about like philosophers. When I say who are two people who've had beef, who've been serious, like, what does serious mean to your bubbles? Grown? What is serious? Hold on. What's another synonym? Professional? To be serious in something. Like I need a new word. Humanity in general is never serious. They think they're serious, but they're not. Like, I genuinely think most people think they're being actually like deep thinkers, but they're not. They're just engaging in talking points to have the conversation. What's the word? Brittany, are you familiar? Do you have any thoughts on Alan Watts? I have a video about Alan Watts. Go watch it. I don't like Alan Watts. Not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan. Yeah, genuine. Thank you, Kay. Fucking yes. Genuine. Somebody who's genuine, who actually wants to solve the problem. Someone who's deeply, deeply genuine. That's what I want. I want to see people who are deeply, genuinely trying to solve a dispute or a problem. Genuinely. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for, girls. Yes, that's what I'm looking for.
Got back to me. He says he'll write me back on Thursday. So we're going to talk to Sam. And then if Sam...
Yeah, mature and genuine. A level of maturity and a level of genuine. Sincerity, other good words. Yeah, I want somebody who's like, actually, I think not to toot my own horn, but I think I exhibited this very well when I talked to the vegan L, because her audience was like, whoa, Brittany was like weirdly so open-minded and so nice. What a breath of fresh air. Yeah, I am genuinely here to understand veganism. I am not trying to pwn you. Can you explain it to me, please? And I want that energy. I am exhibiting the energy I want to see. And I know I get sassy on stream, but like, I appreciated the way Elle's community talked about me when I was on stream with her, because they were like shocked. They were not used to it. And I do pride myself in trying to do that when I'm having a serious discussion with somebody, because I am trying to learn. You know, I do want to understand. Yeah, I'm curious. Exactly. Curious, genuine, mature, sincere. Like, I'm really here to try to challenge my way of thinking while still being honest that, hey, I don't think I'm there yet. Like, you noticed that when I couldn't get there with Elle, I was like, yeah, I can't get there, but I'll work on it. I'll think about it, but I genuinely can't get there. And she was like, okay, cool. Well, at least you know that. And I was like, yeah, which is like what I'm looking for in other people. I wish Ethan can say, yeah, no matter how many times you say it, Hassan, I can't see it as something that isn't anti-Semitic. And Hassan's like, yeah, I get it. It's hard not to see it that way, but I'm telling you, there's a way not to see it anti-Semitically. And then I want Ethan to say, okay, wow, I can't imagine that it couldn't be anti-Semitic, but let me try to really deconstruct and see if I can get there, at least to be empathetic and understand. And then, wow, you know, like, how amazing would that be, right?
Is not able to convert me into the correct way of thinking, then...
See? Ethan goes, he can't correct me into the right way of thinking because he thinks it's a trick. Like, we're trying to seduce him into the right way of thinking. Listen, I think Hassan is more right than Ethan, but I think I'm more right than Hassan when it comes to humanity, because my scope is macro and in Hassan's is micro. And because Hassan is always micro, he will fail to consider the universe with his political stances, right? But that doesn't mean Hassan isn't right in his bubble doing what's right for his people, right? Ethan, I think, is just wrong, even though he's trying to benefit Israelis. He's only benefiting the Israeli government and their propaganda. Ultimately supporting Israeli governments, ultimately supporting the Israeli government is not in favor of Israelis long term. You are not helping Israeli people long term. This is a short term cope for a very fucked up system that will be temporary. Same with Trump. Trump trying to make America this isolationist country is a quote on behalf of Americans. This is not good for us. This will not help us long term. It might sound good short term. Fuck Ukraine, fuck Palestine, fuck everybody. America's just going to be about itself. Oh yeah, that really works out. We know that works out long term. I'm being sarcastic. It doesn't work out long term. It's a horrible fucking plan. We are stronger together. We do better when we all come together. Yeah, this isn't a good plan long term. But Ethan and Trump voters won't get it. Trump voters won't understand what Trump is doing is not good for Americans long term. Ethan won't understand what Israel is doing is not good for Israelis long term. You guys are picking to support the Israeli government in your weird way because temporarily you think it's what's necessary because you're afraid. You are making this decision out of fear. And if you are afraid when making a decision, it's probably the wrong decision.
I will go up against the final boss, the most educated, the most prolific. I said yes 2 hours ago, Ethan. Bro, you're actually in my chat. Okay.
Chat says Hassan doesn't like to talk philosophy, he says. Hey, that's good. He knows where he stands. See, I don't really like to talk politics. I get it. I used to talk politics. I don't like it. I like that Hassan knows he doesn't like to talk philosophically. That's beautiful. That's good. I do. And he likes to talk politics. See how we stay in our lanes?
Oh!
All right. I didn't hear about it since did he really? I didn't hear about it till right now. Why is everyone just in the chat suddenly saying he wants to debate? Just like right now. You know what I mean? Like, give me a break. Bro.
What?
Anyway, it's not happening right now. It's late.
Oh,
okay?
it's not happening right now.
So I'm going to talk to Sam, and then I think early next week, if I don't, you know.
I will be streaming that. If Ethan talks to Sam Cedar, I will cover it, whether it's after or before. If he streams Monday through Friday, I'll probably cover it. But if he streams Sunday, I'm not, you know what I mean? But I'll cover it. Or I'll cover it on Tuesday.
From a caterpillar
I'll cover it on Tuesday, right?
into a butterfly when speaking to approved Jew Sam Cedar. Then we can talk to you on Monday or on Wednesday or on Friday of next week.
Crashing out in the chat is on.
The time. Don't pick the time is during our show, not 8 a.m. Just to be clear. Yeah, and not only that, I've got whatever. I don't need to just we're going
I
home.
replied to
Okay?
Hassan in the chat. I said, we'll set it up. I got Oblivion to play. Like, I got to get out of here.
I got a family and a crew.
He didn't reply to me in the DMs. I don't know why. I made a YouTube video in February asking you to debate me as well.
Boy.
I said,
hey, Swastika Boy, we have
I
shit to do.
talked to
okay?
you
You're not-
numerous times.
Right. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Not sure why your
Today is
audience
Wednesday, which means
is
Thursday is for
deluded.
members. I got as much of the Warzone shit out of the way.
I made a YouTube
So
video in February
here's the
asking you to
deal.
debate me as well.
I'm definitely
I
not
said I
doing
talked
this
to you
thing on
numerous
Friday
times. Not
because we
sure
said we're
why
having a
your
fun
audience is
episode on
deluded.
Friday.
We're talking Warzone.
No, it's because he wants to talk from his hug box. That's it. That's the difference. He wants to talk from his hug box with no contest whatsoever. He can't even stand when his own crew members try to gently put it down, try to gently move him in the appropriate direction. No pushback whatsoever. That's it. He's terrified.
With all that being said, guys, have a wonderful evening, and members will see you tomorrow. Everyone else, see you on Friday. That's it for me. Bye-bye.
His show ends at 4, lol. Yeah, I didn't ask at 4, chatters. I asked before 4. I asked as soon as he said he wanted to debate me. It's because they're Epstein heads who replaced the old audience that left. I refuse to believe that people in that community would go Hassan Nazi or Diddy Piker. He's going to debate you on your bleach knowledge. Be warned. He's been talking about how you claim not to be a fan. I'm an adult and I cannot believe I just typed that. No, I'm going to talk about Israel-Palestine. I'm not going to talk about bleach. A video from 2 hours ago from Hassan Abi Archives. I'm ready to debate Ethan Klein. Oh, this is just from this stream. He got super chats 2 hours ago saying he wanted the call. He can't even be good faith when trying to put this thing together. Oh boy, it's going to be a disaster. It doesn't matter. He can be as bad faith as he wants to. And even with maximum bad faith, he still knows that he can't hide from the truth. He still knows that virtually everything he has said about me is completely fabricated. Okay? Vicious smears of anti-Semitism, completely fabricated. And he also knows he can't have this conversation on the virtues of Israel-Palestine. He knows he can't have that conversation with me. He also, deep down inside, knows that I'm not anti-Semitic. He knows that very well. He is ashamed of what it will look like if we have a conversation, no matter how bad faith he tries to present the issues with. He can be as bad faith as he wants. He doesn't have to be charitable. I'm not just pearly things, okay? I don't need prep time. I don't need an entire crew to feed me information in real time while we're having this conversation. That's why I said I'm willing to talk. I'm willing to entertain it anytime, any place, even without seeing the context puke. How could I do that? How could I actually talk to Ethan if he has such a strong, convincing case? If he has such an airtight case, how would I not be able to have this conversation with him? Why is he the one who's ducking me and not the other way around? That's it. As an actual anti-Zionist Jew, it's always laughable to me when you get accused of anti-Semitism. This is the safest place against actual anti-Semitism, not anti-Zionism conflated on the entire internet. Exactly. His crew is trying to protect him from stressful things. AB admitted to knowing you wanted to talk when you initially said it. He's not going to debate him. Will Steven Crowder you? Who's he going to Steven Crowder me with? Yeah, here's...
Destiny. That would be so fucked up. Can you imagine if Steven Crowdered him with Destiny? Bro, that shit would be crazy. That would be a huge betrayal. To have a predator come on just to own Hassan, it would be the ultimate low for Ethan. Could you imagine if he sunk so low as to bring a predator on just to get back at Hassan? That would be it. That would be the end of it. He's officially fucking lost his marbles.
from 2 hours ago. How will...
But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I literally wouldn't put it past Ethan to do it. That's how low I think of Ethan Klein. I think so low of Ethan Klein, I think he would bring Destiny on to debate Hassan. I think so low of Ethan Klein, I assume he's going to ask Destiny for debate pointers against Hassan. That's how low I think of Ethan. And I never would have said that before, but now feels like he would do it.
Will you get out of this one, coward? Wait, what? I'm down. What the I'm super down. This is 2 hours and 49 minutes into the broadcast. So almost exactly 2 hours ago when I said, of course I'd be down to do it. There is no
way. Chad says Hassan said he would probably bring Destiny on. Oh, like Ethan would bring it. I thought you meant that Hassan would bring it. I was like, Hassan. If Hassan ever brought Destiny on himself, I would be so fucking disappointed. Hell, if I ever talk to Destiny again, I hope you know you should unsubscribe from me. If I ever talk to that man again, unsubscribe, bro. Unsubscribe. If I'm ever in a panel and he shows up, I'm leaving, bro. On my mom, I'm leaving.
No way out of this. He knows what the truth is, okay? He knows what the truth is. He knows what's going on. He knows he wants to shelter himself from potentially the backlash that he might receive when his own audience goes, oh yeah, well, I feel kind of fucked up that you just lied to us. I feel kind of fucked up that you lied to us about this person for an entire year. You could coordinate with Sam Cedar so he puts you on the call when Ethan has him on full circle. I mean, I think that's stupid. A compilation of you not being anti-Semitic? What is it? A compilation of me not being anti-Semitic is a crazy thing to say. It's just the stream. Literally, half of his chat called you a coward for not debating. The other half said to stop because he just wants to move on and not debate you, Law. That's the other part that I don't understand. I've been saying for months that I'm down to debate him. So I don't know why his chat is like, oh, you're a coward. You don't want to debate him. I'm like, no, I do. And then they go, okay, well, you just called in too late. All the H3 fans that could have actually been persuaded have left in the ensuing 2 years. I love you, but this is naive. His audience is too far gone. Please don't go into this. The mentality of his audience will have a change of heart. It won't happen. They're garbage. I don't care. I'm calling that he's still not.
Honestly, can I say something? How bad is it that every YouTuber I know that's ever collabed with Destiny, that's like the worst thing on their resume? The worst blight on any streamer I've talked to is that they've worked with Destiny and they hate themselves for it. They hate even giving him a chance. The Destiny is so bad for your reputation that my chat is saying they would stop watching me if I ever talked to him again. That's the dude he is. After 15 years of being on the internet, that's the end of his legacy. You are the guy whose reputation is so bad that people have to fight tooth and nail to justify the reason they even talked to you in the first place. Damn. That is the worst. Out of everything I've ever done on the internet, that is the worst thing I've ever done, was collabing with Destiny. Should have done my fucking research, bro.
Not going to talk to you. He's going to talk to Sam and then make up some reason why he no longer needs to talk to you. Most likely. But it is mind-boggling. It's just like a basic truth. The idea that I want to talk to Ethan is a basic truth. Have you seen the XQC tweet, dude? Yes, dude. Yes, I have. Why do you keep posting if I've seen the XQC tweet? Yeah, I did. He posted. Anyway, please put up a trap prediction about he dodges on Monday. I'll bet on my channel points the pussy will dodge again. I think in his head, he feels that after speaking to Sam Cedar, Sam will see that you are anti-Semitic and he will get Sam to debate you once that is done. Okay. Yeah, Sam is a very nice person, but he's not stupid. He's incredibly knowledgeable on not only the basic facts of the matter, but he's also incredibly knowledgeable on Hasbara and the types of propaganda that people who are pro-Israel present. My suspicion is that the conversation that he has with Sam Cedar will be filled to the brim with...
Actually, chat said, I blame conservatives for ever convincing me that Destiny was reasonable. You know, the irony of so many Destiny fans is they're just liberals looking for a guy who can debate conservatives. and that's what they want, and so he's good enough. But that's the problem. That's why I say liberals are such a waste sometimes, because you all are so fucking simple-minded. You think as long as a guy can debate a conservative, he's good. Like, please put the math together. And like, that's not your fault. That's not anybody's fault. But the reason Destiny rose to fame through TikTok is because people are seeing him in clips. They're not seeing the Destiny who took women's photos and intimate videos and sent them to other people. They're not seeing his predatory behavior. They're not seeing his like abuse. They're not seeing the toxicity. I mean, to this day, he is downplaying what he's done as he's facing a felony charge. After he admitted with his full chest he did it, he's like, what's the big deal? And I'm like, dude, and I get it. I feel bad for those people. They have no clue. They're seeing him on Jubilee, just thinking he's a normal debater. He's pretty good at it. I don't think anyone's disagreeing that Destiny's a good debater in that sense. So like, yeah, they're just watching him on Jubilee. They're totally innocent. They have no clue what they're signing up for. And why should they be that concerned? And why would they think that bad of him, right? I mean, Trump is president, so let's be like so for real. But yeah, if you watch a Jubilee video, you're probably not thinking about it that much. But that's why Jubilee doesn't care about your safety either. They just care about the views.
The concessions that he makes to Sam in an effort to make it seem as though he's like, oh, well, I said, West Bank settlers are actually targets, but they're calling my wife a baby killer, things of that nature. It's like, oh, well, we're actually pro-Palestine, but every single person is attacking us unjustifiably. And Sam doesn't know the details of all of the things.
But that's my thing. Sam Cedars going to get in a conversation with Ethan, and Ethan's going to be like the same way he was to Dr. Kirk, which is so manipulative. Dr. Kirk, you don't even get all the details. You can't have an opinion on this. You don't have all the details. You don't have to have all the details to have an opinion on something, guys. What is the justification for your action in XYZ position, right? Like, I don't need all the details to know, like, hey, what you did was wrong there. Oh, you don't know the context. Okay, I'm listening to the context. I'm still not getting it, girl. Right? Yeah, Ethan doesn't even have all the details. Ethan doesn't have all the details. Like, he's so bad faith, he doesn't even have all the details. But I think Sam Cedar and Dr. Kirk are good faith enough that they'd be interested in hearing it. But I think they're also wise, mature, and older than all of us, that to them, this is just stupid. We're being stupid children on the internet at the end of the day. What are you doing? Why are we changing the goalposts? Why aren't we being serious about the conversations we're having? Can we please try to be the adults in the room? But we can't be, because we're not ready. We're not ready. We're not ready to be the adults in the room. That's why I'm giving myself till 40 to figure it out, because I don't know what role I'm supposed to play as the adult in the room. I don't know yet, but I have a feeling what it'll be. I just don't know what it is yet, but I think I have an idea.
Things that Ethan has said and done. So it's just going to be a face-saving operation. Yeah. The reason why I initially said he should talk to Sam is because he claims to agree with everything that Sam Cedar says. And if that's the case, why isn't Sam Cedar constantly talking about the anti-Semitism coming from the pro-Palestinian accounts? Why is Sam Cedar actually friends with the arch anti-Semite?
Chaz says, do you think any of them actually want to solve the conflict, like between the two of them? No, which is kind of like the point of the stream, is like, I don't really think either of them want to solve the conflict, but I think Hassan at one point genuinely did. I think Hassan, from my viewing, genuinely tried to solve the conflict with Ethan. I think he tried to be patient and loving with Ethan. I think even if you go back to that original video after October 7th, where he's telling Ethan, please talk to Sam Cedar, please talk to Sam Cedar. And Ethan's like, why do you think talking to a Jew will change my mind? That video, Hassan was 100% empathetic to Ethan. And then eventually you just fucking lose it for people, guys. You can't expect people to be constantly empathetic forever, especially after Ethan advocated for Hassan to get deplatformed. Like, no, not anymore. But I really think my best assessment of Hassan's character is that he initially had really, really good feelings and empathy towards Ethan. And his charity ran out, his charitability ran out, as it should have. And now we're here. But Ethan never had it for Hassan. Ethan never, ever, ever, ever truly understood who Hassan was. He never understood Hassan's character. He never understood his content. He never understood who this man was he was doing leftovers with. I don't think he ever really knew Hassan. Which, to be fair, it took me even a while to get to know Hassan better, because I learned about him through Destiny. That's how I learned about Hassan, was through Destiny. So I had a very tainted view of Hassan, and it took me a long time to deconstruct that tainted view to form my own opinion. And so Ethan, like, I don't think Ethan thought, oh, I should deconstruct my view of Hassan through my own lens without everybody talking to me. And now Ethan's whole view of Hassan is through the Destiny subreddit. So yeah, I know he's not coming in good faith because I know Destiny's community is not coming in good faith. Any information from, you know why I know? Because I know Destiny's Reddit has lied about me. I know that I'm a banned name in Destiny's Reddit. As far as I checked last time when I made my video about Destiny, he banned my name from stream and from Reddit because people tried to post and it got taken down right away. And I know they've lied about me, and I know they've twisted my words, and I know Destiny himself has lied about me. So I know for a fact that they're lying about Hassan because they lie about everybody. Anyone who makes Destiny look bad, he sees them as a negative. Destiny is the kind of person who says, if you want to be my friend, you can never talk bad about me. You can never criticize me. He always has to be the one to come out on top. And that's kind of the Ethan vibes I'm getting at this point. It kind of feels like Ethan is turning into the new Destiny. He only wants people around him who are yes man. And I'm tired. Everyone's tired. It's just not the vibe, you know? And even past that, what if you just have friends you disagree with? I have friends I fundamentally disagree with, right? It doesn't mean we're not taking advice because we won't change our mind. We actually just think we're morally different, right? And that's the other thing that I want people to remember. Just because, I'm trying to use an example that's good, but I have more conservative. I have a couple of conservative leaning people in my life. And they can be upset with me sometimes because of how progressive I am. And they're like, you're never open to criticism because you won't hear me out. Voting for Trump could make sense. I'm like, I love you. I've heard you out. I disagree with you that voting for Trump makes sense. And they're like, but you're not hearing me. I'm like, nope, I'm hearing you. I disagree. Here's your argument, right? I'm saying it back to you. That's your argument. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, then no. And they're like, but you just said my argument back to you or back to me. Like, then you know my, and I'm like, yeah, I just disagree. And they're like, I don't get how you can disagree if you understand my argument. And I was like, yeah, well, here we are. Here we are. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what life is. Life is also to the point where just because I understand your argument doesn't mean I agree. Just because I understand Ethan's argument doesn't mean I agree with him. But Ethan thinks, no. If you understand my argument, you'll agree with me. And I'm like, nope. Nope. He doesn't believe it though. He is positive. You can't do anything but agree with him.
Why have we had multiple conversations? He's just constantly trying to run away from the truth, but he's got the content demon. He's got the content demon in his brain. So he just like knows that this will actually gain attention for him. So he can't help himself. And I think that's what it is. This shit's so high school. I'd be surprised if you idiots weren't collabing at this point. Yes, dude. The dumbest guy on the planet looks at the situation of, I don't know, the Anti-Defamation League actively trying to take down and deplatform a pro-Palestinian voice, including but not limited to getting a Democratic Party congressperson to demand my deplatforming using the congressional letterhead 5 days before a general election, and says this is just high school drama. At a certain point, you have to realize you're trying to minimize it because on Ethan's side, it does come across like high.
I agree with Hassan here. On Ethan's side, it is absolutely high school drama. I think on Hassan's side, though, when he engaged in iDubbbz's video, it also perpetuated high school drama. To some extent, you have to admit that. But I think Hassan one day will grow up and stop engaging in content like that. I think Content Cop is it's a piece of content that's conveyed to be appealing to the youth, which then conveys high school drama. But to be fair, hear me out. Did we not see Trump and his cronies make fun of Zelensky for his clothing choices? Politics is high school. The person in the White House is running it like it's a high school. So remember that adulthood is high school with money. As much as we don't want it to be, it absolutely is. And the motherfucker who's United States president laughed at Zelensky for not owning a suit. JD Vance laughed at Zelensky for not wearing a suit. So yeah, everything in life feels like high school because we're all so fucking unserious right now. We're all so fucking unserious about how tragic real life is. Because honestly, most of us will be just fine. And even if we're not, we'll die, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, we're all pretty unserious.
High school drama because he doesn't care about the politics of it all. It's just content and drama for him and his dumb audience. It's not drama. We're talking about people's lives.
Yeah, Chet says, is this why it's been so depressing lately? Because it's feeling very high school. Yeah. Nothing more than more depressing than to realize the adults in the room are just as immature as they were at 15. They just have better clothing this time around. Yeah. Nothing more depressing than the people in charge of your country are just reliving their high school years with the nuclear codes. So that's why I ask you to move through the levels if you want, if that helps you. Maybe it doesn't. And to realize there is something beyond this. There's something, if you want it, you don't have to have it, beyond this construct. And that's why I dip my toes in for work and I turn off the computer and I leave it. Because this is not my whole life. My whole life is so much better than any of the content I ever cover on stream. And I only cover it on stream because it's what people are talking about. And I'm trying to get them to understand this just exists here. It doesn't exist outside of this. It just doesn't. There are so many ways to impact society and culture and community without ever having to learn Hassan's name, Ethan's name, or any of these other people's names. You never have to know any of these people's names to help the world. And that's something to remember, right? That is something to remember. You know? Chat said, is there a 2 flex level, like a 2 who hops bubbles all the time? I mean, 2s can bubble hop. It's not like a 5. It's not like a skill only a 5 has. 2s pop bubbles all the time. The only difference from a 2 and a 4 is a 4 pops all the bubbles into the universe. A 2 can pop all the bubbles in the 2 bubble. That's what a 2A is. A 2A is a 2 who's popped all the bubbles within the 2 bubbles. And a 4 is a person who's popped all the bubbles. Metaphorically, you don't literally pop all the bubbles, guys. This is a metaphoric popping all the bubbles into the universe. Does that make sense? Like, that's what a 2A is. A 2A is somebody who realized, like, oh, none of these 2 bubbles matter. I'm just going to be the top of my game. I'm going to make the most money, fuck over the most people, do whatever it takes. Most likely, that's what most 2As do. Or they try to and they don't make it because they suck. You know what I mean? And then a 4 pops all of the, quote, bubbles in relation to the universe. Because remember, 2 is in relation to the bubble, the self in relation to the bubble, and 4 is the self in relation to the universe. Everything outside, and even past the universe, right? Does that kind of make sense? Yeah. That says, ever since you talked about your co-author that chose to be a 2, I've been trying to do the same. 2s seem unhappy and unbothered, but they're not happy and unbothered, right? We know that's not true. 2s are not happy and unbothered. 2s are the most fucking bothered. 2s are the most miserable people. Look at them. Look at them running the world. Look at them being 99% of the population. 2s are literally running around the world, littering, raping, stealing, genociding. Like, I would say 2s are not happy and unbothered. They are miserable. They are in a meaning crisis. They are incels. They are in a loneliness crisis. You know, they are dying. They are panicking because a girl won't go on a date with them. The 2s are suffering, you know? Chet said, I thought 4s and 1s were the most bothered. Wait, Chet says, I thought 2s were the best at playing the bubble games. I'm probably not asking right. Guys, the levels is about introspection. Introspection, extrospection, right? It's about your relationship to self and everything outside of yourself. Anytime you're out of sync with yourself in the universe, you're going to be bothered. Okay? You're going to be bothered. It's not about who's the most bothered or the most unbothered or these people bothered or these. You're a human being, have a biological experience. You're going to be bothered in life. And some 2s might be more bothered than some 1s, and 1s might be more bothered than 1s. To even say we can account for billions of people's experiences and summarize and dilute it down to 1s are the most bothered or 2 are the most bothered, you can't really do that. But obviously 2s are very bothered. You know? Yeah, why do you think it is so hard to understand the levels? What do you think it is? Because I know some people get it because they say it back to me and they 100% get it. But like, why? What do you think is missing? Do you guys read philosophy books? Like, I'm wondering how I can communicate better. Because like, to me, it's like very philosophical. Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs exists within the construct of the 2s and the 5s, right? Like when you talk about condition of man, when you talk about the wisdom of knowing, when you talk about your place in the universe, it's never an easy answer, but it's always the simplest answer. Does that make sense? Like, do we know the difference between easy and simple? You know? Chat says more metaphors is a way in. Chat says, I feel like I'm on the cusp of getting it, but something just doesn't click. I love that. That's a good feeling. Because once it clicks, it's going to feel really good. Chat said, I think a lot of people are being introduced into philosophy through you, so maybe it would help to break down basic principles than the levels. Maybe, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. I think people might view them as harsh lines and they might put too much weight on it. I think that's what's happening too. It's very fluid. It's very gray. It's very gradient. Very gradient, you know? Chess says it's the numbers because that makes it seem like a ranking system, even though they're not. Okay, if you see the numbers as a ranking system, I'll make it easy. You're a 2, right? I'll make it really easy. If the numbers are too hard and they are too simple and they feel too much like a black and white process, that's a 2, right? I'll make it really easy. Guaranteed to. Okay? That can give you a base to start off on. Ooh, what does that mean? How am I having that relationship with it? Interesting. What does it mean? Why am I thinking about it that way? Let me deconstruct why numbers make things feel rigid. Let me deconstruct why I'm having a hard time with that. You know? Ryan Beard in the chat says, I'm the world's only 6 devil emoji. Ryan Beard in the chat. Shout out Ryan Beard, okay? Shout out Ryan Beard. Did you hear me talking about you earlier on stream and you came in? We were talking about your Ethan Klein tweets. I don't want to get into it. I wish you the best always. You know? Are the level labels like zodiac signs? I love me some zodiac signs. Oh my God, Ryan, you didn't hear me? I talked about you. That's so funny. You didn't even know. Well, I did for a second. The levels aren't like zodiac signs. Zodiac signs are more like Myers-Briggs and anagram, but the levels is similar in a sense where it can be used similarly. It's about your relationship to self. So ultimately, you can only know where you are, but you have to understand the framework of the levels to properly level yourself. If you don't understand the framework of the levels, you'll never be able to properly level yourself. But once you can understand the levels, then you can understand where you are. And I think there are ways I can give people examples of why I think you're this level, but you're the only one who really knows in the end, right? That says, would your framework be applicable for a personality test format like Enneagram? People answer questions and are given an approximate of their level and explanation of what it means. Yes and no. I thought about creating a test because I've done it. I've done the Enneagram. I've done Myers-Briggs. You know, I pay attention to astrology. And I will say all of them feel different. But I wondered about that. I did think about making a test of what could give people an idea of their level. But I think the greatest thing to do is remember that it is about deconstruction. It is about introspection. And it is about your relationship to existence and existing, right? That's what's the most important. Is that ultimately like, it's a relationship to self. And so you have to question the ego. And then you have to question your place in the universe. And then you have to question why you do things. Like really why you do things, right? Yeah, chat says in the other systems you can't change. You're only one type, right? Like I can't be anything but a Taurus. Versus in my levels, you can be a 1 who goes up to a 5, right? What Myers-Briggs do you identify as? I don't identify as anything. I just take the test and accept my answer back. So I'm usually ENTJ, but recently I was INTJ, right? Was that right? Was that right, guys? I got a new one. I think it's INTJ, right? Was that the new update? But I'm usually an ENTJ. I think that's right. Chat says, I think you're a 7 Enneagram. I got a 6 when I did the Enneagram test. I got Enneagram 6. But I don't know enough about the Enneagram to talk about it yet. I have to read about it more. But I got a 6 when I took the test. But I don't know what it means yet. I've read it once through, but I got to keep reading it to understand it. See, these are other people's frameworks that I'm still trying to understand because I'm working so hard on my own framework. You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure it out. But yeah, Chad said book club when. We should do an Enneagram exploration, honestly. I think it'd be fun, but I'm still learning what it means to do Enneagram, which is, some of the issues is that, you know how people just write off like tarot, write off Myers-Briggs or write things off? I think if you take these things way too seriously and like decide I'm not going to marry Sagittarius because they're Sagittarius, like that's weird to me, right? Like when I was courting my partner, I did ask them their Myers-Briggs and their astrology sign, but in no way, shape, or form did I use that to make a decision about whether or not I was marrying them. But I know some people would. I've seen dating shows where people are like, oh my God, are you a Cancer? I can't date you. That goes back to the very beginning of the stream where we talked about preferences. Saying I can't date you because you're a Sagittarius is like saying I can't date you because you're black. And I don't know how y'all don't see the difference. You're literally not going to date somebody because of when they were born. What are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about here? So it's like, that's the space racism. Chat says space racism. That's fucking funny, That's the stuff that I'm not about. Now on introspection levels, funny enough, is like, I wouldn't date it too. Because our introspection level would be different and we'd be having different conversations and it would be weird. And I wouldn't know how to feel like I was on the same page as my partner. And often I'd feel very awkward. So funny enough, for my level system, you might want to not date it too if you're a 5. You know what I'm saying? Because like, what would you talk about? What would your life? I talk a lot to my partner. I rely heavily on my partner to do the work to deconstruct, like as much as I'm working on it, so we can have conversations. Like if I married somebody, it's like marrying a MAGA voter when you're progressive. It's like, what are we doing here? What are we even playing with? You know what I mean? Like, what are we even talking about? Like that would be just, ooh. You know what I mean? That would be so weird. So I need my partner to be at least a barrier, at least 4 or 5, right? Like that was always my rule. At least 4 or 5, no 3s, no 2s, no 1s. Chat says, Ryan Beard says, I'm curious what your criticism of me was. Do you feel like I'm defending Ethan too much? Navigating this whole thing is very difficult for me to figure out. Well, first of all, I only saw one tweet, so I certainly don't want to judge you. I don't have Twitter anymore, so I don't really go on there because when I go, they make me log in and I don't want to log in. So I don't actually know. I was watching Hassan's stream just now and your tweet was on the screen. And so I don't actually know your official position. I want to make that abundantly clear. And I don't know how much you're defending Ethan. My chat was saying it sounds like you're defending Ethan too much, but I just want to say that I don't know the full context. I'm also not a fan of Bad Empanada, which I think you're not a fan of Bad Empanada, so we're definitely on the same page there. Okay, we're definitely, I think, right. I think Hassan is more right in the Ethan Klein situation than Ethan is, but I also think everyone's lost in the sauce and keeps moving goalposts. But I specifically fundamentally disagree with Ethan on basically everything, except for don't call CPS, don't send skulls to his house, don't harass people, don't dox people. So I'm not sure what your stance of Ethan is, but I did think it was interesting that you got involved. I think I'm always interested in why you're tweeting in the first place. Like, why are you fighting with these losers? Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you fighting with Ethan? Like, why are you even putting your name in for Ethan at all? Look, some people, maybe that's not the right way to say that though, because maybe some people feel that way when I'm sympathetic to Ethan, but I just want to make sure that it's not to Ethan I'm sympathetic to, it's my values. You know what I mean? Like, Ben Empanada, obviously a troll. We can ignore him. Ethan is obviously so bad faith. And Hassan, I think, is more good faith. I do. But I don't, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't think Ethan is actually open-minded or cares about deconstructing his problems. So I think I am less charitable to him at this point. But I also think it's not wrong for you to want to be charitable to him. And I think it's okay for you to make a tweet that reflects your own values that has nothing to do with Ethan in terms of defending him. So, obviously making death threats about people is never okay. I think making jokes about the internet, you know, Ethan makes a lot of really salacious jokes. And I just think it's unfair for Ethan to get offended when people make jokes about his wife, but no one's allowed to get offended that he makes jokes about other people. And that's the problem is like, I don't know where Ethan's line is. I don't know where the line is with Ethan. I don't know what's okay. It just feels like Ethan gets to do it. Nobody else gets to do it. And I just feel like either nobody gets to do it or sometimes people get to do it or we have to make the lines in the sand clear. You know, I think that's the problem. I also think there's a huge sense of justice at play here that is like kind of controlling all of our brains where we all want to be on the right side of history, but we don't know where that is. And so you know, I just think I think it's just so chaotic right now. It's just nothing, no one's having a serious conversation about what the issue is. What's the issue? Go back to the basics. What are the issues? Why are we actually fighting? Why aren't we getting along? And I just don't think I think Ethan is the reason we don't know. I think he seems to be the only person truly involved between Ethan and Hassan and Ian where I cannot understand where he's coming from. It just feels like he's on total defense. And even yesterday, he was calling Hassan names and saying he's, you know, going to be a liar and he's not going to be serious. Yeah. So that's the only thing I was wondering about in relation to your tweet. Hope that made sense. But I don't know. I haven't read all your tweets either. So I don't know. It's all because of the hummus. That's what I mean. Like, are we seriously still talking about the hummus joke? You know what I mean? It just feels so unserious, but I don't think Ethan is serious. I think he's seriously hurt. I think he's seriously offended. But like, you know, so was my mother when I voted for Harris. So here we are. So was my mother when I say I'm pro-abortion, but here we are. It feels like Ethan is your conservative mother who's offended at everything you do. You can't do anything right except vouch for him, you know? And I just think that's exhausting, you know? And yeah, him going and sending cease and desist letters to YouTubers, this is a horrible precedent to set. This is a horrible, like, Wait, Ryan said that Hassan supports terrorism too much, and I think Ryan may not be as aware of everything that's happened, but it's fine just to not have to take online stuff and be pro-Palestine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't consider Hassan being too pro-terrorism. I think his reasoning is sensical in his bubble. So I don't know what Ryan might have, I don't know what you guys are talking about exactly, but I would say that I take a pretty radical stance that if you push people into a corner, they're going to punch back. Don't push people into corners. I have a very big rule. If you push people into corners, I'm not responsible for what they do. But also from a philosophical standpoint, regardless of how people push us into corners, sometimes the best thing to do is to not fight back. And sometimes the best thing to do is fight back. So I think Hassan is coming from that perspective where he feels like, look, you push people into a corner, they're going to fight back. And from his perspective, I think that's really reasonable. I think we're all just debating about did they get pushed into a corner enough to fight back? Right? How much of a corner do you have to be pushed into before you're allowed to fight back? That's really what we're arguing. And then what does that look like? Like, what does it look like to push back? Yeah. Ryan says that's very interesting that what's happening with Ethan and what's happening with Hassan and Ethan and Ian is such an interpersonal drama that being tied to such a big international conflict. Yeah, that's actually why I'm a little exhausted. Because like, are we fighting about their interpersonal drama or are we talking about Palestinians? Because like we need to protect Palestinians, but now it feels like we're just talking about the boys' friendships now. Because Ethan keeps doing it. Ethan keeps going, Ian, my good friend. Ethan keeps making it about the friendship. And I think Hassan is trying to make it about Palestine. And now I'm confused at what's happening. Why did this become like about their friendship? You know? Can we get back to Palestinians, please? Ryan says, I would say I can empathize with people who are pushed into a corner, but when you're a corner, there are still standards on what is and isn't acceptable. I agree with you. I think we're all just disagreeing on what is acceptable or unacceptable. I agree. You push people into a corner, they're going to push back. The issue is Ethan, before he was pushed into a corner, screamed, I'm pushed into a corner. Hassan has pushed me into a corner. Hassan didn't even push this man into a corner yet, and he was screaming for his mother. That's my opinion of the last 2 years of Ethan Klein. I feel the last 2 years of Ethan Klein has been Ethan not even pushed into a corner and screaming, they're pushing me into a corner. And then he got pushed into a corner because he started to, like, people started to not take him seriously. And now he's like a kid looking for attention, you know? That says, hey, Brett, can I get some context for alternative sides of this being the Hassan and other pro-Pally influencers are using the Ethan drama as a tool to funnel the views onto the G side? I'm so sorry. I started to read that comment out loud, but I don't know what it means. I think there's too many abbreviations because you're trying. Hey, Bray, can I add some context? Oh, you want to add context. I mean, you could do it, girl, but it doesn't mean I'm going to read it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could do it, girl. And I might read it, you know? I'm trying to read chat. You guys are talking a lot, though. It's hard for me to keep up. But I appreciate that. Keep talking, you know? Let's see. I saw another comment I was trying to get to, and I kept skipping it. Let me see if I can find it again about the levels. Restating my question better, can twos deconstruct enough to see bubbles and hop around communities, but not enough to relate to the larger universe 4? Yes! You got it, girl. Yes, you got it. Yes, twos can deconstruct enough to see bubbles and hop around communities, but they don't deconstruct enough to see the larger universe. That's literally, you got it, girl. That's literally the key difference between twos and fours. Fours pop and pop the bubbles and in relation to the universe, and twos, they do it only amongst themselves. Yes, it's kind of like I was a conservative that deconstructed into a liberal bubble, that deconstructed into a progressive bubble, that deconstructed into I exist outside of political systems, right? But that's all within the two framework. The same way that like, oh, your conservative MAGA parent that all of a sudden became a Democrat deconstructed enough to switch political bubbles, but that doesn't mean it has anything to do with the universe. That doesn't mean, that's why when I made the video, I tried to use Avatar: The Last Airbender as my character point. Like all of those people are deconstructing in relation to the Fire Nation, the Earth Kingdom, all of their bubbles, but a lot of them aren't deconstructing into the universe. Iroh literally leaves the physical world for the spiritual world. He abandons his body and goes into the spiritual world in Korra. Like Iroh was like, I woke up like this. He was like, I left the world like this. He was like, bye. And Zuko was like, you talked to my uncle? In Korra, when Korra's like, oh, I talked to your Uncle Iroh. He's like, you talked to my uncle? Like, this man went, would you say Iroh abandoned everybody and he should have stayed on Earth to keep defending people? Or are you going to let this old man rest in the spirit world? That's what we're talking about here. Let this man rest in the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if he was 20 or 80. But in the two bubble, it might feel like abandoning. Oh, you abandoned us for this world. You abandoned yourself when you maintained the structures that oppressed you. You abandoned yourself when you as a collective did this group project and all together got an F. And it is a group project. We are all getting this F together. And I wanted to be known that I did my part. And I'm going to continue to do my part until I die. But obviously the whole class isn't doing their part. Obviously. That's what the data shows. That's just like what the data shows, right? But yeah, you got it. Okay, let me see. Da, 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 da. I woke up like this. Now I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head. All this. Okay, let's see. Da, 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 da. This is all just a diversion from the main subject, the ongoing genocide of the Palestinians. Hey, human's gonna human. It is what it is. It's true. It is but people don't care about, no offense, they don't care about anyone suffering unless it's wrapped up and in relation to celebrities. They don't. The views aren't there. That's what I mean to say when I'm saying we're failing as a class. And it's also hard on people. And look, the Palestine isn't the only people suffering. I've seen a lot of people from Sudan and Congo saying like, hey, we're still here. What about Haitians? Did everybody forget what happened to Haiti? Like, there are lots of people suffering right now. And everyone is screaming for everybody's attention. And right now, the popular kids are focused on Israel and Palestine. And that's the truth of it. And in their lives are just as important as Haitians' lives and Sudanese lives and everybody else. And this is why I'm trying to get you guys to understand, take a deep breath and realize you cannot save the world. You can only just do your part. But everyone doing their part also includes the road to hell is paved in good intentions. And a lot of these people got good intentions that are ruining people's lives. How many countries in Africa right now are posting laws against LGBT rights? And how many people are saying, who cares about LGBT rights when there's genocide going on? All of us or none of us, kids. All of us or none of us. And that's the problem. Some people don't want it to be all of us. And so therefore it will be none of us. And that is the cycle of humanity. History repeats itself because people repeat history. Until it's all of us, it won't be none of us. And therefore, that's why I'm saying make it a baby in 2025 is very bold, very interesting choice. Okay. Hello? Can't even put a straw in my mouth. Hello? Shh. Kat says, how do you feel about Noah Samson saying explicitly, I clickbaited my last video about these YouTubers so I could introduce people to these facts? Love it. Fucking love it. Keep it going, bitch. Keep it going, bitch. You know? Let's go. Ryan says, but I guess it's kind of always been that way. It is used to be determined by the news instead of social media. It just used to be determined by the news instead of social media. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not here to point blame I don't want to blame anybody. I don't want to point fingers. I just want to point out what I think is happening and what we can do about it. But I don't have the solutions for humanity. I want to make it abundantly clear. No streamer you are watching has the solutions for humanity. No single person has the answer for humanity. We are all contributing to the group project to figure out what works. And some of us just have worse or better ideas than the other. So I have no solution. I only have the possibility of solution. And we have to see what happens. Actually, let's finish 5 more minutes of this Hassan video. Hassan kind of goes into it with the Chris video. That basically Chris and Noah said, like, they'll talk about these celebrities if they have to. Let's watch like 5 more minutes and then I'm over this. And we'll probably get closer to ending stream. If you have any last questions, get ready to ask them.
Livelihoods being actively ruined by a pro-Israel mouthpiece who has used his platform to constantly go after anyone and everyone, making a fool of himself in the process. What do you mean? It's just high school drama, Lamau. Yeah, if you're stupid and watching from afar, yeah, it looks like high school drama. If you're watching it from Ethan's side, it looks like high school drama. Do you think Ethan will have a redemption arc? At this stage, this is a stupid question to ask. He will never have a redemption arc until he apologizes for all of.
Ryan says, I think my main perspective is you always have to keep humanity at the core of your politics. Once you start dehumanizing people, that always leads down a bad road. I mean, I agree with that. But again, we're disagreeing on what dehumanizing means. I think people dehumanize each other because it feels like standing up for yourself. I mean, that's what happens on the internet, right? Is like we start dehumanizing one another because it makes us feel like, well, they've already dehumanized me already. I have to feel big about myself. But you can stop being charitable to somebody without dehumanizing them. I want nothing but the best for every single person. Destiny, Hassan, Ethan, XQC, Asmin, all the shitty boys on the internet. I want nothing but the best for them. But that doesn't mean that I don't look at them and think, you should deconstruct that. You should deconstruct that. And I also think they're good in their own ways. I can name a billion ways I think these boys are all good in their own ways. Because I think all of humanity is good in its own ways. But I think mostly when we're talking about moving forward, we have to give up and stop holding out for people's potential. We have to give up on people's potential and focus on what can happen. We are holding our breath for so many of these boys to get it together, and they're never going to get it together. I am so sick of living for people's potential. I'm bored. Okay? We have to live for people who are already there. They're meeting us where we're at. And Ethan isn't doing that. And anyone who's doing it might just be Hassan. And even though I think he could do better, like he certainly wrote me off as an orbiter, it's interesting how Hassan saw my video and wrote me off as another girl who has problems with Destiny, which was, I think, misogynistic. But ultimately, that's because, honestly, I don't know what it was. Because to be honest, I shouldn't even get involved. It would benefit me in no way to collab with Hassan and bring more like harassment my way, right? But I think it was very telling that he saw my video and just automatically wrote me off as like another girl who has a problem with Destiny. I don't know why he did that. I don't get it. And it felt very like, did you just write me off because I'm a girl? Like, why'd you write me off? But I don't know what it was, right? I don't know what it was. But it's interesting that Ryan watched your video on stream, Ryan. Right? Your video got watched, which is interesting. Like, that's what's fascinating. It's like, okay, I don't know what's going on here, but it feels like something's going on. Or maybe I'm just a bad video creator. Yeah, maybe I'm just a piece of shit content creator and I made a bad video. You know, maybe that's what it was. You know? I'm not sure. Chad says, to be fair, you wrote off Hassan based off the info from Destiny. Yeah, but then I came around. You know what I'm saying? I came around and I formed my own opinion. But also, Hassan used to be besties with Destiny too, so I don't know why he acting like he's better. Ryan said, Destiny has successfully gotten so many people to think that every woman criticizing him is crazy. Hey, that's true. I mean, that is true. Look, I don't need Hassan to reach out to me. I don't want to get involved. I'm just saying I saw what I saw and I'm making notes. Okay? Chad said Hassan initially wrote off Denims too. He's very paranoid about people who've been previously associated. And I think he's smart to do that. I think he should be concerned. And I will say that I am concerned. Right? That's what I'm saying. I'm not making this stand so Hassan sees me. I don't want Hassan's attention. I'm just pointing out that I find it interesting. Right? I think it's interesting. But maybe Hassan is falling for the same rhetoric, right? Listen, there are plenty of girls in Destiny's sphere that I think are unhealthy and dangerous, but I don't think they deserve to be victimized either. And then I think there were those of us who were just happened to be there because we collabed, right? Like, damn. All of this just because I wanted to collab with some YouTubers. I don't want, that's what I'm saying. I want good people to collab with. I don't want people who are going to bring craziness into my life. And I didn't know what I was signing up for, but now I know. And the only reason I'm hesitant to even work with Hassan in the future is because it's not any better in his sphere. Because he still has to engage with these crazy boys like Asmon and stuff. Like, that's still going to be an issue for me. I'm still the girl in the room who's going to get the flack. You know? So I'm not saying this to like, I'm really trying to make a point of what I'm observing. And it is what it is. I still think Hassan is doing the best he can in the bubble. I still think Hassan is doing what his calling is. I still think Hassan is right more than Ethan is right. I still think Hassan is doing good work in relation to his political bubble. I still think he can keep deconstructing his misogyny. Right? I still think all of those things, you know? I still think all of those things. And I still think Ethan's a great dad. And I think Hila and him love their kids. I think Ian's obviously trying to deconstruct. I don't have much to say about like Denims and stuff, but you guys say she's nice. I'm sure she is. I don't love Bad Empanada. I think he's weird and a troll and he feels really strange. You know? I think all these people are just on a journey. And I think, I don't know, it is what it is. Like, we're all going to do our best and we'll see what we're all doing in 10 years. That's what I'm looking forward to. Where do you think we're all going to be in 10 years? You know? That's what I really want to find out. I wonder what's going to happen. Hopefully Destiny's in jail because he's a predator. Hopefully Hassan is continuing to do the good work, whatever that means for him. Hopefully Ethan is calm and spending time with his kids and happy, you know? Hopefully I continue to be successful online and making a living doing this because I really love this job, you know? Hopefully we're all in a better place. Right? I think that's kind of the goal. Hopefully we're all in a better place. Yeah. Hope my muscles are bigger. That's for sure. I really hope my muscles are going to be bigger. Yeah. Okay, let's finish this.
The things that he has done in the past year and try to make up for it. And even then, plenty of people are not going to be on his side. And he is not the bigger man in this process. He's not going to be humble enough and demonstrate the humility necessary to say, yeah, this past year of active deplatforming initiatives that I engaged in against all pro-Palestinian content creators, demanding that they get fired over and over again, all of that was wrong. And if he were to say all of that was wrong and turn around and try to offer restitution, even then there's going to be plenty of people who say, F you. There's plenty of people who are going to be vicious to him. You know, the CC vid was even an intervention at the end. People still complimented him and wished him well. It doesn't matter. He's lost in the sauce. All right, let's get back to the news. Full charitable long-term fan of yours. It's just frustrating that this dude takes away attention from like news that's really important and it's annoying. It's a daily occurrence, but I get why it's covered. I think he's setting it.
I mean, Hassan streams for like 10 hours. I feel like he can give Ethan an hour or two or something. Jenma, welcome to memberships.
He's trying to set it up to pretend like he gets it now. He needs to save his pod, but doesn't want to admit being a bad person.
Chad says, how do you observe introspection that makes no sense? I can't guarantee someone's level. but I can guarantee what you're not. In the same way that I know what a dog whistle is, or I can tell what people have thought of. Like, listen to people talk. And if you're really, really, really thinking and paying attention and deconstructing, you can kind of figure out where people are coming from. People are patterns of behavior. We're patterns. And I'm too autistic not to see the pattern, right? I might be blind to it sometimes. I might not be paying attention. But if I'm paying attention, I can listen to people talk and kind of know where they're coming from, right? And so you can understand how introspective a person is being to an extent through limited conversation, but I could never really know unless a person told me. Like, I'm still relying on people to tell me. Chat said introspection has nothing to do with opinions. Yeah, you're wrong. You're wrong. If you've ever dealt with an alcoholic person in your family who has to introspect their way to realize they have an addiction enough to be self-aware to go to therapy, you can see people have been introspective enough to go to therapy. Actions are the aftermath of introspection. Introspection is an action. It is as much a thought as it is an action. It shows in your life. Your life is a living proof of a journey. It absolutely shows. Introspection, extrospection, kids, it shows.
Person. Hassan, you're ignoring the insane Destiny fans that are fueling this loser, and Dan are fueling Ethan's mania, and Ethan's having a full mental break fueled by Destiny fans. It's sad, but it is what it is. I know, but it doesn't matter, because to the outsiders that are just signing in, they see their favorite content creator being victimized by vicious anti-Semites online.
Chat says, why the fuck are people arguing you on this? Because people think enlightenment is like meditating till you're floating off the ground. So introspection must be connected. They don't know that everyone experiences introspection on a spectrum. They don't think of people who introspect, who look within and know they should get better and do better. They don't count that as introspection. So they don't think it shows through action, right? Chat, wow, thank you, chat, for giving me a Google definition of introspection. I can't wait to school you right now. Let's get ready. My God. Introspection, the examination and observation of one's own mental and emotional processes. Thank you. Now, what do you do after you've observed it? What's the difference from self-awareness and introspection? BoJack Horseman, very self-aware. Introspection needs the action to follow up. Philosophy, the love of wisdom. What does it mean to engage in philosophy, right? What does it mean to have a love of wisdom? It shows in action. It's no good just to know something intellectually if you're not prescribing it in your own life and bringing it to life. You have to bring it to life, kids. How do you become a good parent? It isn't simply by giving, you're not simply a good parent by giving birth. You are a parent simply by giving birth, but some would argue to be a parent, you would have to actually interact and be good with your children, right? After we introspect, observe, that is the relationship with self. We extrospect everything outside of ourselves, and then we engage and utilize that introspection into action. That's the difference. You engage into action, this thing you say you have internalized and learned. You observe, dissect, deconstruct, put back together, move forward, right? Just that I'm talking about you observing others' introspection and deeming it worse or better based off opinions. This is not how introspection works. We're doing it right now. How extrospective can you be? So you're watching a girl on a stream who has a love of philosophy talk about observing people's actions and trying to put them into a category based off of what they tell her. They are telling us their information, and I'm using the information they tell us about themselves to talk about where they would be on a level system I created about introspection, right? They are the ones telling me how much they've introspected. They are the ones telling me how they've deconstructed. They are the ones telling me. These people talk for 10 hours a day. They are telling us who they are. Okay? And I am using that information to come to a, yes, not complete conclusion. It is not a complete conclusion, but I am coming to the conclusion based off of them telling me who they are. I'm not telling them who they are. They're telling me who they are. And I am coming to an opinion about it. Right? That's how it works. That's how it works. That says, do you consider media analysis a form of philosophy or something else entirely? I mean, obviously it'd be different into some media analysis. I mean, you could analyze media through very different lenses. So I think if you do it through a philosophical lens, then it would be philosophy, right? Right? Just says, guys, you can absolutely infer these things pretty accurately. Absolutely. But I mean, it is a skill, to be fair. You'd have to practice against your own prejudice and bias, which, we try to do. I have bias, I have prejudice, so I have to make sure that that isn't playing a role in my observation. And that's a skill. You do have to have the skill of being able to catch yourself, right? Right? Chat says, then how do you ascribe a point value based on their own opinions? Okay, opinions come from a place of awareness or not awareness. So if somebody comes to me and says, I really distrust the government, I'd say, yeah, that's pretty rational. It's ruled by men. You should distrust the government because men are raised under patriarchy and men are in charge of your lives, and men, without knowing anything about you, will create laws that ruin your life. You should have a distrust of government. Tell me more. And they go, yeah, I have a distrust of government because I think vaccines make kids autistic. And I'm like, oh, why do you think that? They're like, well, there were no autistic people before vaccines. Okay, well, we know that's not true. We know autistic people existed before vaccines. So that tells me that this person has only extrospected so much, them in relation to everything outside themselves, which tells me, okay, have you thought about where you got that information? Introspection. Have you thought about why you feel that way? That the government is not to be trusted because vaccines cause autism? Have you introspected why you've come to that conclusion? Yeah, I thought about it and I decided that 2 + 2 is 5. And I'm like, okay. So now we're at an impasse. I think if you really deconstructed that, you'd come to realize that if autistic people existed before vaccines, then vaccines can't be the cause of autism. Though maybe vaccines, and I'm open to this, encourage genetic changes that bring on autism. But even then, I'm not a scientist, so I really don't know. What do you think? They'd be like, yeah, maybe I'm more open-minded to that if you're willing to in any way say that vaccines could in some way cause autism. And I'm like, well, for the sake of this conversation, sure, let's engage. Okay? So then we're engaging in the what if, but we're dissecting, we're deconstructing. We're actually trying to come to a conclusion based off of why we came to that conclusion in the first place. Okay? Okay. Jess says, do Mormons who perform plural marriage have lower introspection scores because their culture is different? No. Why would you think that? No. What does polyamorous marriages or polygamous marriages have to do with anything? No. You can be a 5 and be a polygamist. You can be a 5 and be a polyamorous person. What does polygamy have to do with introspection? Now he's like, do you just want an echo chamber? You're the one who doesn't get it, bro. You literally don't get it. I'm giving you a chance. Thank you for paying my bills and engaging in my chat, but bro, you literally don't get it, bro. What does culture have to do with introspection? Yeah, thank you, chat. What about the cannibal tribes in the Amazon? What about them? They're probably 2s. What about them? I've been obsessed with those tribes since I was like 15. What about them? What about them? Brittany, he's probably 13. Actually, fuck, are you 13, bro? My bad. I don't usually have teenagers in my chat. My bad, bro. My bad. Who cares? What? My bad. Cannibalism isn't inherently unethical unless you kill people to eat them. You know? But if they're already dead, I mean, it's not my business what you do to your body. Well, it is kind of my business. Are you giving them, you don't know how they think? Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with being a 2. And being a 2 is really, really reasonable. And most people are 2s. 99% of people going to be 2s. Let's be real, right? I was a 2. You were a 2, probably. Everybody a 2. And then people go on a personal journey to introspect. Do you think a tribe living in the Amazonian forest generally will be anything but 2s? No, but there's probably a 5 there. I guarantee you at least 1 to 5 people in a 30-person tribe could be a 5. Guarantee. Now what, bitch? Because you thought I was going to say they're all going to be 2s, wouldn't you? But no, bitch. The truth is, you could be anywhere on the planet and you have just as much chance of becoming a 5 as anybody else. Okay? So if you're a little tribe, your little cannibal tribe somewhere, there could be a 5 there for sure. Now what, bitch? Go ahead. Tell me how I'm the one making generalizations. Okay? Doesn't matter where you are, you have just as much chance. You said, but introspection is an inner process. How are you evolving a score from outward opinion? The levels is a reflection of introspection and extrospection. Do you not know the word extrospection? Introspection and extrospection. The levels are your relationship to yourself and in relation to the universe. That's what the levels are. So it has to have both. So I am judging you on your introspection and extrospection. Okay? So, go ahead. Do you know what this word is? Like, are you okay? Inner process and outer process. You have to have both to move up the levels or down the levels if you want the depth or if you want the whatever works for your brain. You want a deeper level of introspection, extrospection. You have to intro and extro. Intro and extro. Can't just intro, can't just extro. Got to intro, extro. Okay? You're responding too fast to think about what she's saying. Well, that's okay. That's normal. He's already come with an idea. He's already decided it. This is just good for interaction. I'm just like, this is just us entertaining 300 people while we talk. You know what I'm saying? Chat says there's literally a thing called consuming grief. A Brazilian tribe consumes their loved ones because they see burying their loved ones in the cold earth as cruel. Hey, there you go. Based. Okay? Chat says a 2 is not better than a 5. They've just introspected more, but that doesn't make them more valuable as a person. Exactly. 100%. Chat gets it. 2s and 5s are not valuable in different ways. A 1 and a 5, they're not valuable in different ways. They're just having a different relationship with their introspection, extrospection, which often displays in action. If you have an abusive person, the thing that changes that person from being abusive or not is introspection, extrospection. That's why the higher or deeper you are in your introspection journey, the less violent and more compassionate you become. Because generally speaking, like as a 5, I'm plant-based, I'm working on stuff, I'm trying to mitigate harm. I know it's not without opportunity. There will be violence. There will be times for self-defense, right? But I'm not interested in the death penalty. I don't believe in prison systems. I'm trying to do my best to say, how do I cause the least amount of harm while knowing I'm a human being? And I naturally cause harm by simply existing. Everything that exists causes harm. Everything. Just by existing itself, you cause harm. Okay? Chad says wow, he looked up extrospection, guys. The examination or observation of things external to oneself, that's still a personal thing, not you judging others. I love my job. I love philosophy. Isn't this amazing? Do you know what? Isn't this a perfect 2? Isn't this the perfect thing I'm trying to explain to you? How can I get a person to understand something they fundamentally cannot understand? Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it just, I love my job. My job, this is why I cover YouTube stuff. Because it's the easiest example to point out exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You called me a bitch for disagreeing with you. I don't think you're a 5. Sounds like a bitch move, bro. Sounds like what a bitch would say. What are you so mad about the word bitch for? I get it. It's inherently misogynistic unless you're also a girl. Then it's just fun. You know what I'm saying? I will say being a 5 doesn't mean somebody don't say bitch. Being a 5 doesn't mean somebody doesn't get mad. Being 5 isn't ascending and floating above the ground. Would you guys like me to float above my mat in my room right now to prove I'm a 5? Do you want me to start illuminating magic to prove I'm the all ascended enlightenment? Enlightenment is a construct created. Okay? Ban me, prove how fragile your argument is. Ooh, he's teasing. He's edging. He's edging, bro. Chat says, yes, actually. Guys, let me go sit on the floor and ascend, because apparently that's what people think it is. I just feel like me existing and interacting with chat is exactly the proof of what I'm saying. Chat says, if a 5 means I can't say bitch, I don't want it. Exactly, bitch. Exactly, bitch. No, thank you. You know? Hilarious, though. Okay. I think we're basically done. Let me see if Hassan has anything else to say.
And that is completely untrue. It's also causing dumb that you need to have on your side if you actually want to build a coalition.
Oh, yeah,
to
listen.
literally go, I don't really care about any of this stuff. I think everyone's been mean to my favorite content creator. So, the pro-Palestinian cause is actually silly. Like, it's ridiculous. And I know it sounds stupid. And you might say to yourself, well, f those people. And I understand why your immediate reaction is f those people, because f those people. But you need those people. You need everyone. You need as many people as you can.
No, you're doing this thing where you're like, I'm judging your emotional process by hearing, but when you hear criticisms, lash out with demeaning language. Okay. So you want me to play a game. This is a social script, right? You want to say inherently offensive things, and I'm going to stay calm, and that's going to prove I'm a 5. But if I use language that I would use casual with my friends, like, bitch, don't be a bitch, bitch, all of a sudden I'm angry and emotional. So if I clean up my language and I'm absolutely straightforward, like, actually, I've observed your comments, and after deconstructing it, I believe you've come to the wrong consensus. And with the data at hand, you are not only wrong, but you're getting a failing grade. I'm no longer going to engage with you, but thank you for leaving a comment and letting me get the bag. I appreciate you here on the planet, and I wish you nothing but the best. Comma, bitch. Is that what you would prefer? Is that more digestible? Did you hear it better?
You need as many people to fight alongside you at a time when the American government is literally black bagging people for the crime of saying mean things about Israel. Okay? You need people on the streets. So I'm not going to cast aside fans that are too stupid to understand the truth. I was an H3 watcher before I watched your stream. The pro-Palestinian crowd has left the H3 viewership long ago. We are not there anymore. Your chat thinks that this is drama too. I don't understand why they don't care that at least a few people from E's audience can realize how he's been lying to them and negatively affecting their perspective. If you debate him, that's valuable. I think so too, yes. I will go to any space I have to and convince anyone I can. You were mentioned on Philip DeFranco.
So that is Hassan's, I think, desire. So I accept this. I radically accept that Hassan's goal is to make a prescription and to convert as many people to the progressive lens as possible. That's valid, that's reasonable, that's good, right? That is okay. If that's what he wants to do in his bubble, that's great. That's why he went on Theo Von, even though I think Theo Von is horrible. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of Theo in that sense, but I'm happy that somebody is doing the thing because I don't want to do it. And Hassan is a man, so he's more likely to be heard by a misogynist than a woman. You know what I mean? So it works. You know? Yeah, chat, like, bro, you're saying can't people disagree? Are her fans not allowed to have their own critiques? Yeah, but you're being purposely obtuse. You're being rude. Do you not see it? My people disagree with me all the time, but you're not engaging with me. I'm giving you answers and you're discounting everything I say. Everything I say is wrong. You're not engaging with me. You're not actually sitting here and thinking, oh, wait, maybe Brittany has a point. Maybe I'm not getting it. I can tell you're fighting. You want to fight with me. You know? If you were genuinely curious, that'd be different. But you are making a statement that you cannot do X, Y, Z because I don't understand it. And I'm saying, girl, I'll engage with good faith people, but I don't know if you know it though. People are saying you're being bad faith. Are you being bad faith or do you not understand how you don't understand? Like, do you really not get what I'm saying? Are you not even open to the fact that what I'm saying could be true? Because you're not indicating it in the comment section. You're not indicating through your comments that you're in any way listening. You said again, what did I say that's offensive? You want to be a main character, but you don't want to engage in the conversation on a philosophy channel. Why aren't you getting it? My Undead Love, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Let's go. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, chat says people, when they purposely talk at instead of with people and then ask what I do, you're talking at me. You're not engaging with me. You're just telling me I'm wrong, but you're not getting it. You're not getting the idea that maybe I have a thought. You already tried to get me, right? You gave me a gotcha. You're like, what about Mormons? I said, what about Mormons? You said, what about people in the Amazon or whatever you said? Okay, what about them? I already answered your questions. You're not sitting here going, oh, wait, Brittany's making a good point. She's not judging Mormons. Why would I judge Mormons? Why am I judging polygamists? You get every single thing you threw at me. I gave you an answer and you didn't accept any of them. Not one single one of my answers. So which of my answers will you accept and understand? Can you display to me that you've understood any of my answers? Right? I'm here for it, girl. Like, I'm here to have the conversation, but you're not having a conversation with me. You know? You're just not having a conversation with me. So have the conversation or don't. But I don't think you're angry. I think you just aren't listening. You're not deconstructing. You're just having fun going back and forth, but like, you're not actually introspecting. You know? Chat says, just seems like they're avoiding it, continuously repeating the same thing rather than focusing on the argument. Wait, Hassan and Ethan or this guy in chat? Chat says, look, I'm too busy arguing with you and your dad in your chat, sorry, to engage the way you want. Well, you're the one who wanted it. You started it, girl. I wouldn't even have known if you were here if you didn't ask a question. Okay, girl, we don't have to talk to you anymore. I'll ignore you.
Franco that came out an hour ago. What did he say? It's not just
Ethan
drama.
Klein needs to stop talking about Palestine because this man cannot take even the mildest.
Oh, okay. So this is the end of the video, actually. That's all I wanted to show you. Chris made a new video on Ethan. You guys can go check it out. Hassan goes over it. I don't care about that for my stream, at least. That's not what I want to cover here. I just want to say thank you for being here today. Thank you for great stimulating conversations. You know, I really do appreciate it. I think we did really good today. Hold on. This guy's like, I just asked a question. That's all. Okay, I love this. Wait, this is my favorite part of my job. Channel activity. Let's go back to all your comment history. Let me bring up your whole comment history. Hold on. It's loading, though. YouTube's loading. Because that's the thing. You act like I didn't... Bro, I engage with so many people on stream every day. most of my conversations don't become what it just became with you. So like you have got to own some ownership for why it became the way it did with you. Man, it's not loading. You're so lucky, bro. You're so lucky it's not loading. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, nobody else in chat is having this discussion but you. And my chat's going at you because they're like, hey, and who are you? Like, why'd you even find my channel? Let's start there. Why are you here? Oh, I got it. It's up. Do you pay your mods? Normative. It's crazy to hear you complain about one of the easiest jobs. Oh, you're that fucker. You're autistic. Oh, he's the guy who said, I can't believe you're complaining about your job and I'm autistic. He's autistic. I'm autistic too, bro. I get it. Your sense of justice is crazy right now, right? I get it. You're that guy. Bro, this is autistic on autistic crime. Why are you coming for me right now, bro? You just took apart my autistic sense of like my special interest, and you don't get my own special interest. You know what I mean? Oh, you're an Ethan supporter? Love that for you. Bro, I just realized who you were. Look, with peace and love, my brother, we are the same. You know, we are the same. What's your special interest? What's your thing? Do you love philosophy too, and we're just arguing philosophy bubbles? What are we arguing? You're the one who came at me first. You literally fucking insulted me. God forbid I say my job is hard, like everybody's job is hard, and you had the audacity to come in my chat and say, I can't believe you're complaining your job is hard. And you were like, what did I say? What did I say that was offensive? You know, you literally came at me, bro. You insulted me. What are you talking about? Oh, now I'm missing the context. He's like, you're missing the context of the chat from earlier. Oh, so now I'm missing the context. Oh, I see. Now I'm missing the context. Did Ethan interview a terrorist? Oh, are you saying that because you think Hassan did? Can you explain how Ethan's take on a conflict is wrong? Or do you agree with whatever Hassan says? Oh, yeah, bro. You're super good faith, bro. I don't think I fully understand the levels of introspection thing. How are you arbitrarily assigning levels to a person's self-analysis? That's a great question, actually. I didn't mean to say that in a mocking voice. That's actually a good question. But see this question? Do you just agree with whatever Hassan says? Bitch, why you come at me so hard? And then be like, what did I do? You're the one who came at me so hard. You literally insulted my intelligence and said I couldn't have my own opinion. I must be parroting Hassan. You literally came into my chat and said she can't have her own opinion. She must be a Hassan simp. Bro, get Ethan's dick out your mouth, bro. You told me that your job was harder than a neurosurgeon. Nowhere did I say that, and you're not even gonna find me clip it. Go clip it, girl. Go find that, clip it, and send it to Reddit, because you know I didn't say that, bro. You know I did not say that, bro. I said working at Walmart is harder than being a neurosurgeon, and I stand by that. If we're talking about hard in the way that I mean it, I stand by that. I did not say that. You know I did not say that. My chat knows I did not say that. Shout out to my Walmart workers. You all really working the hardest jobs out here. You know I did not say that, girl. You know I did not say that. Okay? See? See how you make shit up? You did. It was about Destiny, and now Hassan, hypocrite. Guys, for the sake of this autist, we have got to ban him. He gave me my bag today. I appreciate it. God bless him with peace and love, with peace and love, with peace and love. We tried, girls. I tried. See how they come out here swinging? They come out here swinging, girl. This was autist on autist crime, but just so you know, I won today. I won today, girls. I won today, girls. Au revoir. Bye-bye. Kiss, kiss. Dobardan. Bye-bye, bitch. Ciao, ciao. Okay, bye-bye. We tried, girl. We tried. That was fun, though, huh? Ooh, I got a little bit of a thrill. Now I know why Ethan picks fights with everybody. Ooh, I got a little bit of a thrill. Ooh, my dopamine is up. I think my nipples are hard. Just kidding. That's very unprofessional. I'm feeling it, though, girl. I'm feeling high as fuck right now. Who needs weed when you can debate losers on the internet? This is why streamers do it, bro. It feels good. It also feels good to know you're right. One day, do you see what I say? I'm waiting for one day. When is somebody going to intellectually converse with me? When am I going to have it? Bryson, thank you so much for the super chat, my bro. What is this? A little man with his sunglasses? I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Beth says, do you miss weed? I miss it. I miss it, girl. For sure, I miss it. Yeah. It'd be great to have some, especially as a painkiller, especially for sleeping. Oh, damn. It'd be great. Beth says, Brittany, you gave him too much grace. Bro, that's what I do. I give boys on the internet who are cranky too much grace. And then it always bites me in the butt. Every time a man says, nobody cares about my feelings, and I try to care about his feelings, I almost always regret it. But only men who say these things, not people who are born men. We love you. People who are born men, I got no beef with you. People that cry about how hard it is being a man, I try, girl. I try to reach you every fucking time. And what do? You fuck it up. You fuck it up somehow. You just do. All right, girls, that's it for today. I'll come back tomorrow. I'm sure we'll have other people in chat then. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for super chatting. Thank you for being a member. And hey, thank you for engaging in the conversation. It was beautiful. It was great. We love to see it. Okay? We love to see it. Okay, until tomorrow, may you deconstruct and may you smoke one for me, guys. Smoke one for me. I'd appreciate it a lot. Smoke one for me today. Inhale it like Bill Clinton said he didn't. Smoke it for me today. All right, answer your phones, kids. Answer your phones. Pick it up, ladies. Answer that telephone. See you tomorrow.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Who is this?
You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
I don't think so.
Why don't you want to talk to me? What's that noise?
Popcorn.
You making popcorn?
Uh-huh.
I only eat popcorn at the movies.
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
Can I be the helpless victim?
Okay, let's see.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.